Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
The season-opening road trip continues. Tonight, the Yankees swing into Seattle. The American League MVP is a fan favorite everywhere, and Aaron Judge has already launched 2 home runs this season. We shall see what he has in store for this game as the New York Yankees battle the Seattle Mariners on a Monday night at T-Mobile Park in the state of Washington. Hi, everybody. We welcome you to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. I'm Nancy Newman. So far, so great. The Yankees left San Francisco with 3 wins in as many games. The pitching has been on point. The hitting has been timely. The defense clean and turning double plays with ease. We will preview this next series in Seattle, but first, let's take a quick look back at the season opening sweep at the Giants. The Yankees allowed just 1 run over the 3-game set. That is the fewest in franchise history through the first 3 games of any campaign. The Yankees are 3-0 for the 3rd consecutive season. That's the first such streak in their illustrious history. And it all started with a Yankees record 20 scoreless innings. Let's get to the rewind.
Here we go. Game number 1 of 162.
Line drive left field. Down the line, Stanton getting the wave on. He's going to score. Digging for third. Head first slide is Daz. Throw to second. Wild. It hits Cabby on the foot. He dives into second as he goes in on the throw. Yankees have a 1-0 lead, and Jose Caballero ringing the bell here in the 2nd inning. 0-2 here to McMahon. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. 1 out. 1-0 Yankees pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle. Seeing a base hit. That gets through. Jazz scores. Cabby right behind him. The old 56 hopper up the middle, drives in 2 runs, and the Yankees have a 3-0 lead here in the 2nd inning. This pitch to Webb, swung on, drive to the gap in right center field. That's going to get down. Everybody's running. Here comes McMahon. Wells flying around 3rd. Grisham to 2nd, thinking about 3rd. Here's the throw to 3rd. He dives head first. He's in there with a triple. 2-run triple, and the Yankees have a 5-0 lead here in San Francisco. 2-2. This pitch. Fastball, strike 3 called on the inside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Mack. Right hand hitter Schmidt, 0 for 2. Been hit by pitches. The fly ball right field. Easy play for Judge. And he backs up, makes the catch. Victory for the New York Yankees in the 2026 opener. A resounding 7-0 win.
Swing and a miss. Gets him on the sinker. And the 0-2. That one just missed, and it's going to be challenged.
And that's going to be a strike.
Let's see what the ABS system says. And challenge successful. Swing and a miss. Devers down on strikes. Strike 3. Got him with the cutter. As Lee swings and misses. 3 strikeouts in a row. 7 strikeouts for Schlittler. Swing and a miss. That's the sinker. 4 strikeouts in a row. 8 on the game. High drive, left field. Right down the line. That ball is gone. A home run for Judge. His first hit of the year. It's a 2-run shot, and the Yankees lead 2-0. Driven deep to left field. Going back Ramos. Track. Wall. See ya. A home run for Giancarlo Stanton. And the Yankees lead to 3-0. th time they've homered in the same game. They're 52-7 in the previous 59.
Is that good?
I think so.
Giant fans coming to life here. Malley comes set. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Here's a pitch. Swung on, drive deep to right. It's a bullet. Towards the 365. Hits off the maze wall. Scoring is Grisham. Bellinger getting a wave around third. Rice will hold it second with a 2-run double. 2-0 Yankees. Man, what a bullet he hit off of that wall. Ben Rice. Fly ball deep to left. Looking up and say goodbye. Aaron Judge points to the bullpen out in right center field. Another home run for the big man, his second of the season. And the Yankees have a 3-1 lead. 0-1. Pitch hit right to Jazz. I'm telling you, room service. Come across the back. Double play as Rice holds on to it as Bader runs up his back. As Devers swings and a ground ball to Jazz. Throws to second for 1. Over to first. Double play. Third twin killing of the afternoon for the New York Yankees. 1 out, 2 on. Here's a pitch. Fastball hit right to Jazz. Jazz at second. Over to Cabby for 1. Over to first. Double play. Victory for the New York Yankees. Their 4th double play of the afternoon. And they complete a sweep here in San Francisco. 3-1 the final.
Indeed it was. The Yankees will look to build off that momentum tonight in the first game of this marquee series in Seattle. The Mariners made it all the way through to the American League Championship Series last season and came that close to their first World Series appearance. When he met the media earlier, Skipper Boone talked about the challenge the Seattle lineup poses.
They have guys that can leave the ballpark. You know, tends to be more of a pitcher's ballpark, but this is still a team that hits the ball out of the ballpark. They are not necessarily an overwhelmingly fast team, but they're aggressive on the bases. They'll take some chances in the running game, so we got to control the running game and pay attention to them on the bases because they'll do some different things out there as well.
I went into dropping Caballero a couple spots and bumping the other guys up.
Just trying to kind of look at their personnel, their pen, and you know, obviously want all our lefties in there, you know, against Castillo and pushing them up a little bit. But I don't want to go too far into what goes into everything, but just trying to net us as many good matchups as I can.
You guys settle on a date for Cole's next throw day?
He's got another. He had a side yesterday or today, and he's got another live, a 1-up live in a couple days. Yeah.
Still playing for Volpe to start hitting live this week too.
Yeah, he's on track. He's been doing traject and everything, and I think he starts on course with live at bats on the 1st, I believe.
Is he going to be in New York with you, or is he going to stay?
No, he'll be in Tampa.
Here is the lineup that Boone will begin with tonight, and it looks pretty familiar outside of some shuffling in the lower third of the order. Aaron Judge bats second. He loves facing the Mariners. He has a slugging percentage of .711 against them. Only Carlos Delgado was better. As for the Mariners, who split their season-opening 4-game series with the Cleveland Guardians, they are loading up their lineup with righties, including Rob Refsnyder, who excels at hitting left-handed pitching. However, there is the one very notable absence. Cal Raleigh is not in the starting lineup today. He's had a slow start to his season, just 2 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. Before we go to break, Ken Clay, a pitcher who won 2 World Series rings with the Yankees in the 1970s, has died. Clay made his major league debut with the Yankees in 1977 and spent 3 of his 5 big league seasons in the Bronx. Perhaps his most memorable moment came in Game 1 of the 1978 ALCS, when he threw 3 2/3 innings of scoreless relief and earned the save as the Yankees beat the Royals. He went on to pitch for the Rangers and Mariners. Ken Clay was 71.
Yankees batting practice today is presented by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Tri-State Audi dealer.
Welcome back to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. Our Michael Kay joins us now from T-Mobile Park in Seattle to talk Yankees, Mariners, and Michael, for the 3rd year in a row, the Yankees have opened the season 3-0. The pitching dominance in San Francisco cannot be overstated. With performances like this from the starters before the big guys return, Cole and Rodon, the Yankees have to be feeling pretty good.
Oh, they have to feel great. Obviously, you start off the season, you want to start off on the right note, especially when you're on the road. And in the championship years in the late 90s, the Yankees did start on the West Coast a couple of times, and it seemed like it served them well. You get one of those long trips out of the way, and if you could put wins on the board, and then when you get to Yankee Stadium on Friday, you have a pretty good record. That makes the fans feel good. That makes you feel good, takes a little pressure off everybody as well, because everybody comes into it with confidence, but there's also some doubt until you put that first W up. So the Yankees sweep the first series, and now they have 3 games here in Seattle, and they are feeling pretty good about things.
Yes, and Aaron Judge, he's got a couple of hits so far, both home runs, and the rest of the lineup has looked very strong. Yes, we're just 3 games in. Yes, it was the Giants, but how much of the load do you expect the captain to continue to carry? How much do you think he should carry?
Well, I think as Aaron Judge goes, so go the Yankees. I mean, the year that he got hurt by running into the wall at Dodger Stadium, you saw that the Yankees didn't play very well. The entire team is built around his prowess, his greatness, and the fact that he had 2 home runs, that's a big deal, but he didn't get any other hits. He struck out a couple of times in San Francisco, and they still went 3-0, so that bodes well. The one thing about this team, Nancy, they led the major leagues in runs scored last year. They know how to hit, they know how to drive in runs, and if they get pitching along with the offense that they expect to get, then they should be very formidable.
Yeah, all about health all the time. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cal Raleigh, he's had a slow start to his season, coming off, of course, that 60 home run campaign, finishing runner-up to Judge's 3rd MVP season. Any concern has to be early overreaction to the very definition. Fair to say?
Well, I think a lot of fans now kind of think that baseball is football. You know, 1 game in baseball equals about 10 games in football. And you just can't react or overreact to a couple of games. It was strange, though, Nancy, to see that Cal Raleigh is not in the lineup tonight for the Seattle Mariners. And Dan Wilson, the manager of Seattle, said, you know, he just needs a mental break. This is after just 4 games that they split against the Guardians, but he looked a little off, a little tick off. And this is a guy who had 60 home runs last year, so maybe he's putting pressure on himself to try to create that again. He's never had great numbers against the Yankees, though, but he is sitting out today against Weathers, which was kind of odd because if you look at his total games last year, he did not sit out many games.
Do you think the WBC has anything to do with that? A little fatigue?
A lot of the WBC guys seem to have come out of the gate a little bit struggling. Listen, I like the WBC. I love the WBC, but it does take guys out of the process of getting ready for the season that they're used to. You take them away from their team. You take them away from their daily routine, and I think that might set you back just a little bit. I don't think that anybody is terribly out of whack, but you can't say it's the same thing that if you stay with your team in spring training and do the things that you do every single year, that it wouldn't be a little bit different. All of a sudden, you're playing high-intensity games in something that really means a lot to a lot of people and to the players as well. And maybe it does set you back just a bit, and it's going to take them just a while to get that back. Maybe they might be a tick off.
How about this, though? We're just going to take a little bit of a turn. It's a great time to be a sports fan. March Madness continues to deliver. Last night's UConn win over Duke, a total thriller. So we thought we'd ask you, what might be a baseball equivalent to that kind of a stunner, a thriller?
Well, it's got to be, Nancy, it's got to be some kind of a walk-off or something like that. I think it's not that long ago, Game 7 of the World Series between, you know, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers, it had so much drama, and the home run by Miguel Rojas, which you didn't expect, and you didn't expect that shot from Mullins because he had not shot well the entire game, and he hits it. And if you want to, you know, connect it to the Yankees, you know, the Game 7 in 2001 against the Diamondbacks, you've got the greatest closer in the history of the world on the mound, and somehow the Diamondbacks are able to scratch across the runs to take a World Series away from the Yankees. It would have been 4 in a row. So those are some of the ones that come to mind, but so dramatic. And when something like that happens, Nancy, what we saw in the UConn-Duke game, that's why we come back to sports. That's not where we put up with the nonsense, the disappointment, the talk about money, things like that. We come back to sports because it gives us moments that you don't get anywhere else. Any kind of scripted TV series, they're exciting, they're great, but they're not really happening. They've been written down in a book and people say the lines. This is real. This was happening yesterday, and all that drama for the kid Mullins and then for Caden Boozer to have to carry that load as well. It's what makes sports great. Live sports, there's nothing better to it. You can't sit back and DVR a sports event, because if you DVR'd that game with UConn yesterday and then you knew the outcome, it wouldn't have had the same dramatic effect. But if you're watching it live, it means everything, and that's why sports rules.
So true. A big part of why we do what we do. Thank you, Michael. We'll see you in a bit for the call of the game with David Cohn. Let's take another break here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Coming up, a family legacy continues. We will hear from Ryan Weathers as he prepares to make his Yankees debut. Stay with us. We are back with the quote of the day, courtesy of Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. And it's from someone with ties to both of these organizations. Lou Piniella once said, we're quoting, "You have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable." Those are some words of wisdom from the former longtime skipper. Good stuff. 30 years ago, David Weathers played an integral role in helping the Yankees secure a World Series that laid the foundation for a dynasty. Tonight, Ryan Weathers will follow in his father's footsteps when he takes the mound in a Yankees uniform for the very first time. Ryan talked with Meredith Morakovitz as he prepared for this moment.
Ryan, you're set to get the ball for the first time as a New York Yankee in the regular season. Game 1 in Seattle. Just how much are you looking forward to getting out there?
It's exciting. It'll be my first time ever in Seattle, too, so super excited. I know they have a good lineup. I'm excited to put the New York Road on, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Hey, you mentioned that lineup. They have guys that can do damage throughout it. What's the biggest thing for you in trying to navigate yourself through that lineup?
Yeah, I think the big thing on them is just like any other team, like you got to get ahead. You get into hitters' counts, they can do some damage. You get ahead in counts, and we can get some outs. Just trusting my stuff over the plate and keep the ball on the ground. New team, new season. How much do you feel like you have something to prove out there? I mean, I always have something to prove. You know, it's big league baseball. It's the best game on earth and the most fun game. You know, I just want to go out there and help the Yankees win ball games. If I come out with a win on Monday, that's the goal.
What will tell you early on that you have your best stuff?
I think just being in the strike zone. I think that tells me my delivery's in a good spot, my arm's in a good spot, and just move around the zone from there.
What do you take away from this spring and the way you're throwing the ball right now?
I feel really good. Obviously, velocity is the highest it's ever been. The stuff's moving great. Had a good tune-up my last outing after a couple, outings I didn't want to have. I'm really excited where the stuff's at. What does the pregame routine look like for you? Any different knowing it's the first time you're going out there this season? Nah, if people don't talk to me in the clubhouse before the game, I'm like, I can't do that. That's not my personality. Just come in, do my crossword puzzle, maybe a Sudoku board, just hang out, get some food, and then about an hour before the game, kind of start getting locked in and go over scouting reports and all that. Perfect. I have an appointment with you in Seattle in the clubhouse before your start. Just kidding. Hey, how much does it help you knowing that this offense, your offense, can do damage? Max Fried talked about it in Game 1 against San Francisco about how them putting up runs kind of put you at ease on the mound. For sure. I mean, I think as a pitcher, definitely as a starter, truly you can be just keep my team within striking distance to win the ball game, because with this offense, as long as we're in striking distance, we can win the ball game. And obviously, if they're putting runs on the board, and that makes our job a lot easier. Go out there and put up a zero. Like the other day, we put up 5 in the second. That bottom of the second is arguably one of the most important innings, is put up a zero and kind of let us keep the momentum. So I think our offense does a really good job of changing momentum of a game. Is that kind of in the back of your mind when you step foot on the mound, or are you just totally dialed on the catcher's mitt? Got to be dialed in. I can't, they're a really good lineup, but I can't always put that on their shoulders. I have to do my job as well. And yeah, hopefully we can work together and win some ball games. Well, best of luck first time out. Thank you.
That brings us to the key to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Weathers made 8 starts with the Marlins last season and went 2-2 with an ERA just under 4. He will go up against another flamethrower. Luis Castillo is set to begin his 5th season with the Mariners after going 11-8 last year. Let's take one last time out here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. After the break, we will wrap things up with some final thoughts as we move closer to Game 1 between the Yankees and the Mariners. Stay with us on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Welcome back. The Yankees fared well in this matchup last season. They went 5-1 against the Mariners and outscored them 40-23 in the process. They have also won 6 of their last 9 games in Seattle. That does look good. Time for a quick look at today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And the Yankees won't have to deal with the Mariners starting shortstop, as J.P. Crawford began the season on the injured list with shoulder inflammation. The former Gold Glove winner is expected to be back soon. One thing we will be keeping track of all season is how teams approach the automated ball strike system. And so far, the Yankees have been dialed in on their knowledge of the strike zone. They've been successful 5 times out of their 6 challenges, and Austin Wells alone is 3 for 3. Here are some things to keep an eye on tonight. The Yankees bullpen has started the season with 11 scoreless innings, while Giancarlo Stanton is red hot as well. On the Mariners side, Julio Rodriguez has been one of the top players in the American League in 2022 since then. And while Randy Arozarena has been a thorn in the Yankees side, we will see what happens in this go-round. That does it for this edition of Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. The next BPTV comes your way tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. I'll see you then. Right now, our game day coverage rolls on. It's the first of a 3-game set in Seattle. Ryan Weathers making his Yankees debut in road grays. Best pregame in the business. Next.
Well, they conquered San Francisco, and now it's on to the Emerald City as the New York Yankees take on the Seattle Mariners on a Monday night at T-Mobile Park in Washington. And let's quickly cook up something special with Hexclad. The Yankees allowed just 1 run against the Giants, the fewest through 3 games in franchise history. They're 3-0 for the 3rd straight season, and it's the first time they've done that ever. And it all began with a Yankees' best 20-inning scoreless streak. We certainly hope you're having a great night. It's Yes After Dark. It's the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. 1st to 3 between the Yanks and the Mariners. Weather tonight, be a little on the chilly side. More with Meredith Morakovitz on that in just a bit. But as far as weathers goes, he hopes to be an issue against those Mariners hitters. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
We've talked about the Yankees being off to a new and fresh start, and you just detailed all those stats that start the season. 3-0 is the most important. Ryan Weathers is very excited about this new start after being acquired from the Marlins. He wants to show the Yankees he's a better pitcher, he's a better man than he was when he pitched with the Marlins. How is he going to do that? The Yankees have already talked, Bob, about him incorporating his 2-seam fastball more. It's a pitch he didn't throw very much with the Marlins, but if he throws it and throws it successfully with the Yankees, it opens up a lot of other doors for his fastball, his changeup, and his sweeper. A very intriguing offseason addition by the Yankees. I'm very eager to see what Weathers brings to the table.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Let's get it out to Seattle right now. Meredith Morakovitz standing by with the Clubhouse Report, presented by your local Ford stores. So let's start with the weather, which obviously you've got the big fluffy look going on. So what's it like in Seattle tonight?
Bob, definitely not a good sign, all right? It is by no means warm here in Seattle. According to AccuWeather, it's 46 degrees right now, but I think they're lying. It feels like it's about 37. Last night at the end of game time, it was 34, and oh yeah, there is wind here. So it is going to be cold this evening, but hey, both teams are dealing with it. You look in the Yankees dugout right now, there is a huge heater by the stairs to go down to the clubhouse, so you're going to see a lot of guys huddled up against them. And I had a laugh when the hitters were coming out of the hitters meeting just after 4 o'clock local time today in the clubhouse. They were seeking out equipment manager Robbie Kakuza, asking him if he had any more long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, anything to layer up with. Now, Jazz Chisholm Jr. has been very clear about the fact that he hates playing in the cold weather. He's from the Bahamas. It's part of the gig, but I asked him what he does to get ready to prepare himself, and he said pregame hot tub, a lot of Vaseline, and a lot of prayers for me out there tonight is what I'm going to need. In all seriousness, Jazz went on to say, look, it's part of the deal. The adrenaline takes over when you're on the field, but playing in cold weather, it's never fun. But both teams are dealing with it tonight, Bob, so we'll see exactly how they are able to manage with that. But I will say, Jose Caballero was out here for batting practice. No sleeves at all. Just toughing it out.
All right, we'll see if that's the case when the game begins. It may have dropped a few degrees. Now, you talked to Ryan Weathers going into this one, making his Yankees debut. I wonder if he'll even be feeling that cold weather because he just wants to be laser focused on those Mariners hitters.
Well, I imagine that he is focusing on doing his job on the mound. When you look at the Yankees starting pitchers through the first 3 games this season, they have been phenomenal. 16 innings combined, allowing just 1 run on 8 hits, striking out 15 in the process. He wants to be the guy to carry that torch. Now, interestingly enough, the Mariners had a game here last night. Typically, Weathers throws a little bit before his start, the day before his start. He wasn't able to come here to the ballpark to do so, so he went to a parking lot outside the Yankees hotel with the bullpen catcher, and they said they got some looks. They were wondering what was happening. People were walking by a little bit confused, but he got his work in and he is ready to go. I had the opportunity to catch up with Ryan Weathers the other day to ask him about getting the ball for the first time this season with the New York Yankees.
It's exciting. It'll be my first time ever in Seattle too, so super excited. I know they have a good lineup. I'm excited to put the New York Road on, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Hey, you mentioned that lineup. They have guys that can do damage throughout it. What's the biggest thing for you in trying to navigate yourself through that lineup?
Yeah, I think the big thing on them is just like any other team, like you got to get ahead. You get into hitters' counts, they can do some damage. You get ahead in counts, and we can get some outs. Just trusting my stuff over the plate and keep the ball on the ground.
New team, new season. How much do you feel like you have something to prove out there?
I mean, I always have something to prove. You know, it's big league baseball. It's the best game on earth and the most fun game. You know, I just want to go out there and help the Yankees win ball games. If I come out with a win on Monday, that's the goal.
He's capable of a lot. I mean, obviously, it's great stuff. He's had success. So for him, I just feel like, you know, first start, new team. I know he's going to be amped up. It's, you know, kind of one of those nights like less is more. Let your stuff work. You don't have to overdo it. And you know, just get in the strike zone and let your defense do the work. He's you know, he's ready to go and excited to see him go out there.
Kind of with that in mind, what do you look for early from him to see if he's allowing the adrenaline to get the best of him or if he's completely dialed in?
Yeah, just seeing, hopefully getting ahead in the count and then seeing how his secondary works off his really good fastball too. So, you know, hopefully he, you know, obviously he's got a really good changeup and the slider, so hopefully he's got one of those that are working along with the fastball, but controlling the strike zone first and foremost with his heater.
And if Ryan Weathers was feeling any nerves, you weren't seeing it in the clubhouse when the media was allowed in. He was just sitting at the table by himself, very cool, calm, and collected, doing a crossword puzzle. He told me that's what he likes to do on start days to keep his mind occupied, kind of clear his mind a little bit before he starts looking at the game plan and getting ready to go. Also noteworthy, guys, his dad, David Weathers, as we know, a member of that 1996 World Series team, flew out here to Seattle to watch his son pitch for the Yankees for the very first time. He said earlier this spring, there is no better place to play in Major League Baseball than for the Yankees. It is the greatest organization in all of sports, and he believes that the Yankees are going to bring out the best in his son, David, and the Yankees are certainly hoping so. First chance for him tonight on the mound.
Well, the first 3 games, things trended very positively for the Yankees. We detailed some of the numbers at the top of the show, Meredith, and certainly for 2 players coming into this one, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton.
Look, Giancarlo Stanton seemed to be heating up throughout the course of spring, and it just carried over into the regular season. 2 hits in each of the first 3 games for the Yankees. I spoke with hitting coach James Rowson earlier about that, and he said you can tell that Giancarlo Stanton is dialed in, not just by the way he is barreling up the baseball, but also by some of the takes that he has. He said you can sometimes learn more about that and what he's not offering at rather than just the hard contact, because that's something we always see with Giancarlo Stanton. He also noted when he's quick and compact to the ball, that's how you know he is really feeling it in the batter's box. As far as Aaron Judge is concerned, a little slow to start in that first game, but came out with a big home run in game 2 and then another home run in game 3. And while he seems to hit well in just about every ballpark, T-Mobile Park, well, he really likes it in the Pacific Northwest. Look at that, 11 home runs in 26 games. Not to mention, check out that OPS and 26 RBIs. I should say Yesterday, 11 home runs in 23 games with 26 RBIs. Now, one thing this team has talked a lot about is the camaraderie in that clubhouse, and they made sure to get together on the off day. They actually all went out to dinner last night. That's something that was very important to Aaron Judge, to make sure they have some of these group activities throughout the course of the season. When the schedule dictates, they went to a local steakhouse, and of course, the captain picked up the bill, Bob.
Well, that's good news for everybody else on the team, no doubt about that. Hey, before we let you get away, let's get the Morgan & Morgan injury report.
Well, some guys continue to progress, and we will start with Carlos Rodon. He threw 50 pitches in a live session the other day. Garrett Cole also continues to make some progress. He'll throw a one-up live session within the next couple of days. And I told you a few days ago that Anthony Volpe was going to see some live pitching. That will happen this upcoming week. So everything positive on the injury front, but still some steps and some hurdles for these guys to go through before we see them back up here at the big league level, Bob.
Good news. Meredith, thank you. Have a great night, and we'll see you in just a bit with Michael Kay and David Cohn. Now, all season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, just getting started on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, and Aaron Judge is already off and swinging this season. Coming up, we'll look back at last year's MVP race as Cal Raleigh will begin tonight's matchup on the bench. That's next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. Yankees fans, enjoy opening week on FanDuel, where all customers can choose their own reward on any MLB bet. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Only at your local Hyundai dealer.
The big bats have shown up.
Just an MVP caliber at bat right there.
You get two of the leaders of Raleigh and Judge
putting together an MVP type season.
When he hits them, there's no doubt about it.
Just keeps bumping that average up.
60! The American League MVP, Aaron Judge.
All summer long, a fun race to watch for the MVP in the American League. Your key matchup, brought to you by Bonafiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees, shows the numbers between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. Raleigh had that prolific season of 60 home runs, most ever by a catcher. He got 13 first-place votes. Judge had 17. We didn't have an official Jack tracker on the MVP, but you had told us from about June on that it was Judge's to lose, and he did not lose its grip.
Right, and every time I said that, Bob, I said with deep respect for what Cal Raleigh is accomplishing right now, I think Judge will win the MVP. I stayed consistent throughout the season. I think Raleigh had an historic season. What he did as a catcher was amazing, but if you look at the numbers, and there were a bunch of them on that graphic right there, there were so many areas where Judge was not just better than Raleigh, he was immeasurably better, and the one I focus in on the most is OPS, almost 200 points better than Raleigh, and it just shows you the distinction there for me and why I thought he should win the MVP. I thought it should be close. It was, but I thought the voters got it right in giving it to Judge.
Well, Raleigh off tonight. Judge coming off back-to-back games with home runs. Take a look at our Yankees lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Bellinger and Stanton coming off 2-hit games. Judge 4 for 10 with a homer off Luis Castillo. That's good news as well. And then, as we mentioned, Stanton off to that 6 for 12 start. And, Jack, when you're looking for numbers and positives and good percentages and averages, so to speak, you can also look to ABS, and the Yankees winning most of their ABS challenges, but using it very judiciously as well.
Right. They've been successful on 5 of 6 of their challenges, and if you wanted to answer the question, how is it going to impact the season, it already has. Look at that right there. This is game 2 where Judge is able to reverse a call against Robbie Ray. So suddenly the count goes to 2-0 instead of 1-1. And then Ray did not want to throw a slider for some reason. He decided to challenge Judge with a fastball later in the at-bat. 2-run homer Yankees on their way to a 3-0 win.
And then Saturday, impactful again.
Again, early in the game, this would be a strikeout. But when you put your hand on your helmet, as Grisham did, you have the ability to get that call overturned. He gets that overturned to make it a 3-2 count. He then gets the walk, and guess what follows after that? Bellinger first hit a single, and then Rice had this 2-run double, which, by the way, would have been a home run at Yankee Stadium, obviously, but it just shows you how impactful those decisions can be. As you said, Bob, you want to be judicious, you want to be strategic, you want to be smart, and I think the Yankees have been all of those things so far. We showed you the hitters. Austin Wells behind the plate. He's 3 for 3. And I actually wonder if there's one that he wishes he had back that could have made him 4 for 4. There was a pitch in the first inning with Warren that he didn't challenge. He peeked to the dugout, but they've been very successful in making sure that they use this system to their advantage.
We will see if they employ it again tonight. Now, in the meantime, they're going up against Luis Castillo. Just want to ask you about that. A couple of years ago when they got him, he was ace-like quality. He's not quite that, but still a very good pitcher.
Still a very good pitcher. Someone who across the last 3 years has averaged 32 starts a year at 3.5 ERA. Every team would take a guy like that in their rotation, especially when you're the number 4 starter, which is what he is right now. Fastball, sinker, slider, changeup. One thing about him, Bob, in the last 3 years, his strikeout percentage has gone down every year.
Well, Ryan Weathers is set to make his Yankees debut tonight. And coming up on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, we'll tell you what to expect as the Southpaw continues the family legacy and gets an early test against the Mariners. Stick around.
Hey Yankees fans, I'm News 12 meteorologist Hope Aselka with your game day forecast, and the Yankees are away in Seattle, Washington. Here's how it's looking at first pitch. It's dry and chilly, temperatures in the low 40s, cooling down by the 7th inning as clouds start to build, and you have a light breeze taking us through the end of the game with cold temperatures in the upper 30s. So what's your moodcast? How does this weather make you feel, especially with temperatures in the 30s? Let us know at News 12 The Bronx. Enjoy the game. Back to you.
Thank you, Hope. Tonight's start for Ryan Weathers, a little bit of history. The 5th father-son duo to play for the Yankees in their history. Started with Yogi and Dale Berra, Ron Davis and Ike Davis. Then there was Mark Leiter and Mark Leiter Jr., Clay Bellinger, and now Cody Bellinger, and then David Weathers and Ryan Weathers. So we take a look at what he did with the Marlins. You alluded to this last year, courtesy of StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. And what does he offer, and how might it differ a little tonight?
Yeah, the stuff is there, Bob. This is a guy who averaged 97 miles per hour with his 4-seamer last year. The Yankees believe that the changeup and the sweeper are also above average. If you're looking for a left-handed pitcher that profiles similar to Weathers, it's Skubal. So that just tells you what kind of pitcher the Yankees think he can be. He comes out in his first start in spring training. He's throwing 99. He's getting swing and miss. And you're saying, wow, he's already been in that Matt Blake laboratory and turned everything around. The rest of the spring was a little rough for him, but the Yankees believe that there is a lot in there. There's a lot of upside. Blake has used the word ceiling. And again, I'm really intrigued to see who he is going to be tonight, especially how he incorporates that 2-seamer. I think it's going to help him against lefties.
And they actually lightened his workload a little bit in terms of less long toss, less fatigue on his arm to keep him healthy.
And that's what the Yankees do. Once they get a pitcher under their umbrella, so to speak, they do all of their research, they do all of their work, and what is going to help make this pitcher the best that he can be. Bob, you talked about the father-son connection at the beginning of this episode. I covered David Weathers, so I walked up to Ryan Weathers in spring training and introduced myself. First of all, I felt as if I was talking to David Weathers' twin, but 30 years later, we get to see Ryan try and do what his dad did in '96. His father was part of the team that won that title.
Well, let's take a look at the Mariners lineup that he will face. Comes your way courtesy of Toyota. Donovan and Arozarena each coming off 2-hit games against Cleveland. Donovan had a 3-run homer in that one, and then Rob Refsnyder, the veteran, with the Mariners. 959 OPS against lefties last year. That is 6th best in the majors. Now, we also know, Meredith said, no Cal Raleigh tonight, at least to start. He'd be available off the bench, but also no J.P. Crawford.
Right, and Julio Rodriguez is 1 for his first 15. Naylor is 0 for his first 15. But this is a team that will hit. You look at what the Mariners were able to do last year. They were second to the Yankees in the American League in home runs. They were 4th. The Yankees were first. They were 4th in runs scored per game. I think they will hit. I do find it interesting, though, Bob, that they are resting Raleigh. They just want to give him a mental break. Could you imagine the furor in New York if after a 2-for-15 start, Aaron Judge was rested for a mental break? It would be a little different than I think the way it's being handled in Seattle right now.
There's no doubt. One last break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame still to come. We're going to get Jack's key to the game as the Yankees prepare to take on the Mariners. That's next on Yes in the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com.
It's time for the pregame odds segment as the Yankees open a series in Seattle. For a same-game parlay, how about Trent Grisham to knock a hit, Aaron Judge to drive in a run, Cody Bellinger to score a run, and Ryan Weathers to strike out 5 or more? That parlay comes in at plus 883. Yankees fans, enjoy all the best baseball action this year on FanDuel. And all opening week, all customers can choose the reward they want to use on any MLB bet. Play your game on FanDuel.
The Yankees bullpen in San Francisco, well, they were giants. Well, that doesn't make any sense, Jack. You know what I mean, though. They were really good. 11 scoreless innings. Bednar picked up a couple saves. And as you pointed out, Camilo Doval looked legit like he was back in his All-Star days with the Giants.
Bob, when the Yankees left Tampa, if you spoke to their team officials, their team executives about what areas did they have of concern, they would point to the bullpen. They talked about how they had some reliable arms in the bullpen, but even Aaron Boone said to me one day they're going to need some arms to emerge. This was a terrific opening series start for them. You brought up Doval, and that is the one that stands out the most. The movement that he was getting on his sinker, if he can be the pitcher that he was, for instance, in 2023 and lock down that 8th inning, that would be of such vital importance. And then Bird, who got to the Yankees, was probably thrilled to go from Colorado to New York, and then pretty much ends up spending the season in the minor leagues. A lot of spin on his pitches. He could be an asset, too.
With so many good things happening coming into this series, a lot of things could be your key to the game. What do you got?
Well, I just gave you my key to the game because I'm going back to the pen. I'm saying the pen can be mighty for the Yankees tonight. The Yankees want to see what they can get out of Weathers, and if Weathers is efficient, he can get them to the middle of this game. But I don't think the Yankees are expecting Weathers to still be on the mound, say, even in the 6th inning. I think if he gives them 5 solid, Boone and Blake will be ready to go to the bullpen to finish this off.
Appreciate you joining us on the pregame. It is Yes After Dark, and it continues right after this with Michael Kay and David Cohn with a call. Meredith Marakovitz reporting. Jack Meredith and I will see you on the postgame. Hope you're having a great night, and it continues with us here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Game 1 of 3, Yanks and the Mariners coming up next.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
A bitingly cold Monday evening here in the Pacific Northwest, where it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Seattle Mariners. Game 1 of a 3-game set from T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. Great opening series for the Yankees. They swept the San Francisco Giants, and they got some hitting, but the key was the starting pitching. Just outstanding. And the relief pitching, even better. Overall, 27 innings pitched, 13 hits. They allowed just 1 run, 17 all-time to allow 0 or 1 run in the first 3 games of the season. Walked 7, and they struck out 27. Can't get much better than that, David.
No, you can't. And, of course, it's a starting pitching. Everything starts with the starting pitching, and I know I'm a little biased, but that was very impressive. Max Fried was great. Cam Schlittler's taken another step. And certainly tonight's going to be interesting, too, when you think about, Ryan Weathers making his first start.
All right, Yankee debut for Ryan Weathers. Let's take a look what the Yankees expect. They expect big things from this guy who has a big arm.
know, the ceiling is very high with Ryan Weathers. He's got big velocity from the left side up to upper 90s. He's got a sweeper that's very effective. All the stuff is there. It's time to meet Matt Blake and the Yankees pitching coordinators and see how they can get him to the next level.
Take a look at the resume. He was the 7th overall pick in the first round by San Diego, 2018 draft. When he's on the mound and healthy, he could pitch 3.74 ERA last 2 seasons with the Marlins. The Yankees got him from the Marlins on January 13th for 4 minor leaguers, and he's the son of 1996 world champion David Weathers. Well, Meredith Marakovitz will talk to Ryan in just a moment. She'll bring the heat on this cold night next on Yes.
For Yankees baseball on Yes, where the Seattle Mariners are hosting the Yankees for the first of a 3-game series. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. It all starts tonight for 26-year-old left-hander Ryan Weathers, who will be making his first start as a New York Yankee. Aaron Boone told me earlier there'll probably be some added adrenaline, if not some nerves for Weathers. After all, new season, new team. When I spoke to Weathers the other day, he told me he's ready to go.
It's exciting. It'll be my first time ever in Seattle, too, so super excited. I know they have a good lineup. I'm excited to put the New York Road on, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Hey, you mentioned that lineup. They have guys that can do damage throughout it. What's the biggest thing for you in trying to navigate yourself through that lineup?
Yeah, I think the big thing on them is just like any other team, like you got to get ahead. You get into hitters' counts, they can do some damage. You get ahead in counts, and we can get some outs. Just trusting my stuff over the plate and keep the ball on the ground.
Ryan's father, David Weathers, who was a member of the Yankees' 1996 World Series team, is expected to be in attendance tonight. He said earlier this spring he thinks his son being with this organization could bring out the best of him on the mound. The Yankees certainly hope so. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, Michael Kay will be joined by David Cohn. First pitch coming your way after the break.
Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Yankee fans, enjoy opening week on FanDuel, where all customers can choose their own reward on any MLB bet. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Feels so right, it almost feels wrong. Only at your local Hyundai dealer. And by the New York Lottery, this could be your lucky play. Just a beautiful city, Seattle, Washington, and it is really cold today. Seattle beat the Guardians yesterday 8-0, and one of the big heroes was one of the newer Mariners, and that's Brendan Donovan. And he said that he was as cold yesterday on the field that he has ever been during a baseball game. They have a roof here, a retractable roof, but it's clear skies. There's no precipitation. David, they're keeping that baby open, so it's going to be cold again.
Yes, it is. And even if it's closed, it's still kind of an open-air style, so you're not going to get a whole lot of relief. But a beautiful ballpark, a beautiful city. The Yankees are hot. Mariners have a great team. This is a great matchup.
Strangely enough, and we'll give you the lineups as we move along, Cal Raleigh not in the starting lineup. He had a rough first 4 games against Cleveland, and Dan Wilson, the manager of Seattle, said just giving him a mental day off. And the bottom line, David, hitting is really, really hard. This guy had 60 home runs last year, got out of the gate a little bit slow, and they give him a day off. This is a guy who played almost every day last year.
Yeah, he is a true horse. And you know what? Out of those 60 home runs, 52 of them were hit left-handed. So with Weathers on the mound, throwing maybe 98 miles an hour in this cold weather, maybe not a bad idea for him to kind of reset.
Well, the Mariners take the field, led by the starting pitcher, Luis Castillo. And let's give you the Yankees starting lineup. Trent Grisham in center field will lead off. Aaron Judge plays right and bats second. Hitting third, then playing left field, Cody Bellinger. Ben Rice at first. Giancarlo Stanton, 3 straight multiple hit games against the Giants. He'll DH, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing second base, Jazz Chisholm Jr. Ryan McMahon's in there at third base, batting seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Austin Wells. And the shortstop, Jose Caballero, will bat ninth. And they have a tough customer in the veteran right-hander, Luis Castillo.
Oh, he is a durable veteran right-hander. He's never had really any serious injuries. He posts up. You can book him for 180 innings just about every year. And let's give you a little bit more in our Nissan pitcher scouting report. And still a fastball pitcher. 68% of the time, it's either a four-seamer or a two-seamer. The key is that deceptive lower release point, almost sidearm. Gives him that upshoot effect on his four-seamer, really devastating. And a low walk rate. He fills up the strike zone.
Let's take a look at the defense that will be behind Castillo. Rosarena in left, J-Rod in center, Victor Robles over in right. Infield, Donovan, Rivas, Young, and Naylor. That's third to first. Garver behind the plate. And the former Yankee farmhand Rob Refsnyder signed as a free agent. He'll be the DH. He's very tough against left-handed pitching. And we mentioned that Castillo is on the mound. Behind the plate is Mike Esterbrook. The umpire scouting report brought to you by your local Kia dealers. He's considered neutral. More low strikes, fewer high strikes. Mike's been around this 21st big league season. And home plate umpires under a lot of scrutiny. First weekend of the season with the ABS system working beautifully and having a lot of calls overturned.
And you know, one thing too is there's just less chirping from the dugouts too. You know, I mean, there's the players. There's nothing to argue. It's not like they're chirping at the umpire as much.
Castillo ready, Grisham ready. Let's do it in Seattle. And the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. Thank you for starting Late Night Yanks with us. We'll go deep into the night, however long it takes. Yankees 3-0 on the season, and Seattle is 2-2. Yankees enjoyed a rare, I mean really rare Sunday off. The way the schedule was made out with the Netflix game on Wednesday, then Friday, and then Saturday, and they traveled after the game on Saturday to Seattle, where they enjoyed an off day here in this great city. Still 0-2. Judge with 2 home runs against the Giants. He's on deck. And the 0-2. 1-2. You know, in the ABS challenges for the Yankees, they're 5 of 6. So they are 2-1 batting. Caballero got one wrong. And they're 3-0 fielding, with the catcher doing most of the challenging.
You know what it's doing, Michael? It's kind of exposing. You know, every pitcher thinks every pitch he throws is a strike, and hitters as well. So, yeah, you're finding out right now.
Sharply, second base, grabbed there by Young. 1 down. So Judge heard a lot of boos in San Francisco and greeted with some boos here at T-Mobile Park. Reggie Jackson, he said they don't boo nobodies. The MVP, he won the MVP over the local favorite, Cal Raleigh. Very, very close vote, but Aaron picked up his second straight and his third overall. Soft ground ball. Donovan fields and gets Judge.
It is remarkable when you think about the year Cal Raleigh had. Catcher that hit 60 homers and didn't win the MVP. That's how good Aaron Judge was. What a phenomenal year he had.
Here's Cody Bellinger. 1-0. Popped up on the left side. Rosarena will put it away, and the Yankees go down quickly. 1-2-3 against Castillo. Yankees nothing, and the Seattle Mariners come to bat. Hello. No, I don't like. Welcome back. Yankees go down in order. Brian Weathers on the mound, making his Yankee debut, and this is the Mariner Starting lineup that he's going to face: Brendan Donovan will lead off. Rob Refsnyder bats second. Julio Rodriguez in center. Cleaning up, first baseman Josh Naylor. Randy Arozarena in left. Mitch Garver will catch. Victor Robles will play right field, bat seventh. Batting eighth, the shortstop Leo Rivas. And Cole Young, the second baseman, will bat ninth.
And here is Ryan Weathers. And there is Stormy Weathers, my former teammate. David Weathers was outstanding in the '96 World Series, the bullpen, and his son last year. Just 8 starts, a little bit of an injury-riddled season, but he's got some talent. He's got a big arm. It'll be fun to watch him make his debut.
And the lefty deals.
Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report. And another Yankee father-son combo, big-time lefty velo, and meet Matt Blake.
Two-0 count on Donovan. Weathers, 26 years old, 7th big league season. But injuries have set him back. The Yankees have worked with him very carefully, trying to keep him healthy. They do not have him throwing as much between starts. He loved to throw between starts. Sometimes he'd get to 100, 110 pitches, either on flat ground. In the bullpen, they've cut him down to about 60.
I agree with that, especially the long toss. You got to know when to kind of give your arm time to recover. Good shot, foul tip, right to the glove.
And the payoff. And he walked him. Let's check out the Yankee defense behind Ryan. Bellinger, Grisham, and Judge. Left, right in the outfield. Infield, McMahon, Caballero, Chisholm, and Rice. That's third to first. Austin Wells, fourth start behind the plate. Stanton, the DH, and Weathers on the mound. So Weathers didn't have great numbers in spring training. The Yankees weren't concerned. They looked under the hood. They saw the pitches. They saw the movement, the shape, the way he felt, and they have no concern whatsoever with the results in spring training. Rob Refsnyder, 1-0. Crushes left-handed pitching, 1 year, $6.25 million free agent deal he signed with Seattle. And a strike. Last year, a .959 OPS against lefty pitching, and that was 6th in the American League for Refsnyder. And not only was he important for the Red Sox on the field, but he became a leader in the clubhouse, a voice that the players listened to. Very close friends with Aaron Judge. They came up through the Yankee system together. 3-2.
Refsnyder could always hit. They had trouble finding him a position when he was a Yankee. Well, his position is right here in the batter's box, especially against left-handed pitching.
Tipped into the glove of Wells. One away.
Tell you what, 3-2, here it is, hit it, go right on by. A little foul tip, another one into the glove of Wells. But you can almost see a sigh of relief, a big breath after getting this out and getting the strikeout on Refsnyder there. That might be the ticket for Weathers to settle down here in the first.
Here's Julio Rodriguez. 1 for 15 in the series against the Guardians. But that's no surprise. He's always been a slow starter, a career .223 hitter in March and April. That's 99 miles an hour.
You just know how jacked up he is right now in his debut. That's the toughest part for young pitchers, to learn how to control yourself a bit.
Lined into center field. Grisham makes the play. Well struck, but Grisham put it away for the second out.
Absolutely. Great shot here. We're going to see the jump. Well done by Trent. Did not freeze at all. He paused for a minute to read it and went right directly with an excellent route to a hard hit ball.
And that brings up Josh Naylor. He put on a show in the postseason last year. In 12 games, hit .340. But started off 0 for 15 against Cleveland, and he was one of the fastest free agents to sign. He signed a 5-year, $92.5 million deal with Seattle. Seattle went all the way to Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, and they were leading in that game 3-1 and ended up losing to Toronto. Toronto went on to play a great 7-game set against the Dodgers in the World Series, and Seattle remains the only team out of 30 major league teams to have never been in a World Series.
Well, they have an outstanding foundation, especially up the middle when you think about Cal Raleigh and then Julio Rodriguez in center field. That's a deadly combination. They're clearly one of the favorites and a contender to win the American League pennant again this year, or to be in contention for it. I think most projection systems have them winning around 90 games, maybe a little more, give or take, depending on which system you use. But they have pitching, and they have some hitters in the middle of their lineup that can do some damage.
Swing and a miss. Gets away from Wells, and he'll toss it over to Rice, and that'll do it in the first. 1 man left for Seattle. We'll go to the second. 0-0. Opening week brought to you by Vanguard. Discipline that delivers. Dave, you want to go skiing Mount Rainier tomorrow morning?
I have never been skiing in my life.
Really?
It's something I always wanted to do. It was against our contract, you know. I didn't want that void.
Well, our contract, they want us hurt. So.
That's true, yeah.
Let's go skiing. Oh, 0-1 on Rice. Now 0-2. Second inning, first game of the 3-game set. Yankees opening up the season with 6 games on the road. 1-2. Castillo, 33 years old, 10th big league season. Three-time All-Star, twice with the Reds and once with Seattle. Second base, Young. Here's Giancarlo Stanton. The first time that Stanton has started a season with 3 straight multi-hit games. hitting the ball hard. Had a pretty good spring training. Remember, last year he didn't get going till almost the midway point. So healthy and in the lineup. Castillo, 4th season of a 5-year, $108 million deal. Goes through 2027. And he has a vesting option for 2028 if he pitches 180 innings in the final year.
Turned out to be a bargain of a deal, right?
Yes, very much so. And he takes the ball all the time, which is so key.
Yeah, his durability is really remarkable. I'm not sure if it's his arm angle, his release point, that it's more natural to him, that he's never fought it and tried to get back on top. He throws almost sidearm, really, when you look at his release point, a little above that, but very low.
And down goes Stanton.
You know, we talk a lot about metrics. That release point I just referenced is what allows that four-seamer to get by guys, to kind of ride. He gets that riding action. You can see when he releases the ball, you know, it's not directly sidearm. It's technically about 20 degrees, the angle. Directly sidearm would be 0 degrees is the way they measure it on StatCast. But yes, it's a low release point, and that's the deception that really serves him well. And that's how he gets that riding action up in the zone.
One and one on Chisholm. Left side, who's going to get it? And it's dropped by the shortstop Rivas. There goes Chisholm for second. He makes it. That was kind of like dropped into no man's land. Tough for the left fielder, third baseman, and the shortstop.
You can see how far they have to go. Shortstop's almost directly behind second base. It's got a long way. Third baseman's playing in. Oh, that was almost, you know, 3 guys converging at once. That could have gotten ugly, and almost an outstanding play by Rivas. Just can't hold on. See, Jazz is trying to read it. He sees here, okay, maybe I got to go. Oh, wait, turn it on. He dropped it.
You think it's fair, David? E6?
No, that's not. That is not fair at all.
Ryan McMahon fouls it back. That's not an easy play, David.
No, you got to consider how far he had to go. Look where he's playing, almost behind home plate. He had to run all the way to the foul line and out, and that was anything but easy. Clearly not an error.
We'll see if they reconsider and change it, but right now it is an E6. One and one on McMahon. One and two. So Yankees with their first base runner. Chisholm at second base. And we're in the second, 0-0. First game of this 3-game set. Two and two.
Get a look at that slider from Castillo.
Not a huge crowd here at T-Mobile Park. Swing and a miss. McMahon down on strikes. No runs in error, and 1 man left.
Welcome back. We are scoreless here as we head to the bottom of the second. David, you know as well as anyone that pitchers are creatures of habit. And Michael, you noted that the Yankees have encouraged Ryan Weathers to perhaps throw a little bit less in between starts. But one thing he still likes to do is play catch the day before his start. Now, the Seattle Mariners were in action with the Guardians here at T-Mobile Park last night, so he was not able to come here and throw. So what did he do? He picked up his glove and bullpen catcher Peter Cerruto, and they went to a parking lot that was close to the Yankees hotel where he was playing catch. People walking by wondering, what are these two doing out here? I'm sure you've done that before, David. And then earlier today in the clubhouse, he said he likes to stay calm before a start by doing crossword puzzles. So around 4:15 this afternoon local time, he was by himself at a table just doing a crossword puzzle, trying to get ready for tonight's game.
Rosarena with a single up the middle.
A little bit off the end of the bat, but got enough of it to get it back up the box. Looked like a changeup that stayed up a bit.
David, did you like to throw the day before you started?
Yeah, I didn't really need to. Maybe just a little bit of light catch. I really believed in, kind of saving my arm for the day of. I would go pretty good on the side day, and I certainly would play catch every day, but the day before I would be very light for me. That's where the discipline comes in, to kind of allow your arm to recover a bit.
Snap throw, diving back. Well, he said that he likes to throw a lot. So the Yankee plan for him to pull it back a little bit was a little difficult at first, he said, but now it feels fine. Deep to left, but foul.
You know where it can really pay off for you, Michael, is if you're disciplined about taking care of your arm in August, in September, and then into the postseason. That's where it really pays dividends for you. Keeping them healthy for the whole year, too, will pay dividends for the Yankees.
Second time he's thrown over. You have to look at this Yankee rotation as a really high-stakes game of musical chairs, because when Cole and Rodon come back, and they are going to come back, people are going to lose their spot in the rotation. So how do you translate to the bullpen? Do you have options remaining? These are all things that will have to be considered. That's a nice stab there by Wells.
Right in the web. You can see him look back. He didn't know if he got it at first.
One and two on Garver. Runner goes. Foul ball.
Think about it, Michael. This is probably the deepest or the most depth the Yankees have had on their entire pitching staff, especially when you look down in AAA at that staff. They clearly have a lot of arms they can turn to in need. I can't say that's been the case here in several years that we've been here and covering the team. This is the best position pitching staff overall that I've seen, certainly in Aaron Boone's tenure, in terms of overall depth, and your next 5 starters beyond your first 5. And that's not even factoring in Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon, who, as you said, will be back.
And right now they're operating with a 4-man staff in the rotation, and you have Luis Hill waiting to be called up.
I really commend the Yankees and Brian Cashman for being patient in the offseason and not doing sort of a deal just to do a deal and keeping all those pieces, whether it was Spencer Jones or Dominguez, certainly all that young pitching, Carlos Legrande that we've seen.
So this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat.
Pitch number 30 of the game, too, early here in the second.
Foul bat and out of play. Now, one of the few deals that the Yankees made was one for Weathers, and the Yankees didn't just parachute in and be the only team that was looking for Weathers. Lots of teams were trying to trade for Ryan Weathers, and when you ask around baseball, they think the Yankees made a really smart, savvy trade, that this guy has a lot of upside. Runner goes. Ball 4. So no stolen base. He just moves to second on the walk. Let's take a look at Weathers' arsenal on StatCast Google.
It certainly starts with high velocity. Got a changeup and a sweeper. His best secondary pitch is probably the sweeper, although it's an improving changeup. As we see here tonight, it's just a question of commanding the strike zone. He knows it. He told Meredith that before the game in their really good interview, that just about getting ahead, controlling the strike zone, and that's been the problem so far for him.
So here is a Robles. First and second, nobody out. Gets the fastball by him, 0-1. McMahon at third is on the fringe of the grass. Yankees looking for 2. Bellinger in fairly shallow left field for the righty swinging Robles. Foul back. So that fastball sitting at 99.
Yeah, that's the approach right there. I mean, a race to 0-2. This is the model for him in every at bat with that kind of fastball. The sooner you can get to 0-2, the better off you are.
Just missed. Weathers, one of the rare players that made his major league debut in Game 1 of the playoffs for San Diego against the Dodgers. Strike 3. Robles down looking.
Wells does such a good job of framing that particular pitch. We usually talk about catchers and low pitches, but that ball's inside. And that's 2 already that he's been able to catch almost in his pocket to be able to keep his glove quiet so he doesn't have any movement on his glove. That was outstanding framing by Wells right there.
Here's Leo Rivas. J.P. Crawford, the regular shortstop, has a right shoulder inflammation issue, but he's expected back Friday when the Mariners will be in Houston. One man out, first and second. Popped up. Infield fly rule as Chisholm makes the play.
You can see how Weathers can control the at-bat when he uses his fastball to get ahead. These last 2 at-bats are a prime example of how good he can be when he's very aggressive in attack mode.
Here is Cole Young. Second season, 22 years old. They almost got him. Caballero's looking into the Yankee dugout. They'll take a look quickly, decide whether or not they want to challenge.
well-executed pickoff. And good timing. Weathers here with 38 pitches. You almost stole an out right there to get him out of the inning.
They do not challenge. Broken bat, Looper, right field. It's going to dunk in for base hit. Rosarena will score. Garver moves to third. It's an RBI single for Young. It's 1-0 Seattle.
Well, you can see the bat just break off in his hands. But every hitter will tell you they'll trade a bat for a hit every day of the week. And take the ribby with you as well.
First and third. Here is the leadoff hitter, Donovan. Walked in the first. A lot of teams were looking at Donovan, and he came to Seattle in a 5-player, 3-team trade in February. Donovan came to Seattle, Ben Williamson to the Rays, and the Cardinals got 3 minor leaguers. So why would they trade a guy like Donovan? Well, they're stripping it down and building back up.
And some good young prospects in St. Louis too.
Chaim Bloom is running the show now in St. Louis, putting his imprint on that team.
Donovan's a perfect fit here. I mean, he can play third base, he can play second base, but good bat-to-ball skills all around. Solid.
And down goes Donovan. But the Mariners get a run. They lead 2. Well, MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 and select out-of-market games every week. Plus live radio broadcast of every game. Game Day 3D, Big Inning, and minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Well, Castillo has a 1-0 lead after the broken back single by Cole Young. Drives in a run. Austin Wells will lead it off here in the third. Castillo has made 7 starts against the Yankees, 1-3, but pitched to a 2.74 ERA. And since 2019, he's pitched to a 21.6 pitcher WAR, which is the 5th best in the majors.
Durability is a skill set, especially in today's game. So the value of posting up, you could book him for 180 innings at least, almost every year.
So 3-1 on Wells, leading off. Caballero on deck. Rivas shades up the middle for Wells. And a strike, 3-2. That's right by him. That's the 3rd strikeout for Castillo.
Well, we told you that he likes his fastball. He throws it about 68% of the time, and why not? As we mentioned, from that low slot, when he throws that four-seamer up, it's really deceptive. It's really hard to catch up to.
There's Caballero. 1-0. Mariners 1, Yankees nothing. Top of the third inning. Game 1 of a 3-game set. Just clipped the outside corner, and it's challenged.
The batter's challenging the pitch.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. So Caballero will challenge this one. Then he gets it right. Overturn. Yankees now 6 out of 7. Successful in their challenges. Three and 0. You can't put yourself, David, in a position that you're never going to experience, but knowing your makeup, if you had a pitch called a strike and all of a sudden it was challenged and it was overturned, would that annoy you?
At first, yes. I mean, it's going to take some getting used to on everybody's part. There can be an emotional letdown. So you really need to prepare.
Caballero was the first major leaguer to challenge the opening game against the Giants, and it was unsuccessful. The only one that the Yankees have gotten wrong. Strike 3, and he challenges again.
The batter's challenging strike.
And he's right again. So Mike Estabrook gets 2 wrong. Caballero gets 2 right.
It's kind of fitting, right? Because Caballero plays with an edge. He's a daring base runner. He's a daring challenger. 2 for 2 and 1 at bat.
Overall, 53.7% overturn percentage. Batters 42.3. Fielders much better. And we mentioned the Yankees 7 of 8. That one's chopped to second. There's 1. And no return, so a force out. They get rid of the speedy Caballero off the bases. Tell you what, David, the ABS system has been met with mostly positive reviews. People are loving it. Even fans are getting involved.
I agree. Fans like it. It's quick. It's very fan involvement. You can see it on the scoreboard.
Well, Eugenio Suarez in 1 at bat overturned 2 pitches that would have been strike 3. The crowd in Cincinnati erupted as if it was a home run that was hit. And the home plate umpire in that game was C.B. Buckner, who had 8 challenges against him. 6 of them were successful.
You know, a lot of the talk, too, was, you know, you may take some of the framing ability of the catchers away now with ABS, with the challenge system, but actually it's more important for catchers. They're the ones doing the best challenging. And the framing, as we saw before, is still there.
And there's some significance to challenging successfully, because if you see the way this inning is played out, Judge doesn't come up this inning if that's not challenged and overturned, because that ground ball would have been the final out. So Judge gets an at bat because of Caballero's successful challenge.
It's a great point. A little bit of a domino effect.
So 3-1 on Judge. Grisham leads off first. And there's ball 4.
And guys, talking about the ABS system, Aaron Judge had a call that was overturned in an at-bat in Game 2 of the series against the Giants, which led to a home run and runs on the board for the Yankees. I asked him, is it hard to have the conviction in that split second to challenge? And he said, you know what, I'm still getting used to it. I'm not an umpire. It's not necessarily my job to know other than what I think the strike zone is. But in certain spots, he's certainly going to take the chance and challenge if he feels like it could be a difference maker in the game. And you saw Caballero getting on here in that Game 2. It led to a home run for him. Exciting part of the game this year, guys.
Bellinger takes the strike. Yankees down 1-0 first and second, 2 outs. Big cut by Bellinger, 0-2.
Just a well-located slider right underneath his hands off the inside corner.
That misses inside. 1-2. Bellinger. So the Yankees strand 2. We go to the bottom of the third. Congratulations to our very own Derek Husey and family. Welcome Hank Peter Husey into the family, born March 19th this year. 7 pounds, 11 ounces. And he joins the Husey clan. Everybody's doing well. Mom's doing well. Derek's a really, really good guy, so we're happy for him and the family, and welcome to the world. Rob Refsnyder leads off, takes a ball, 1-0. You know, with the ABS system coming into play, they had to measure each player. I mean, really measure them to the nth degree. And strangely, a lot of ball players lost a lot of height. So on the opening day roster, there were 430 hitters. 225 of them lost height. Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor's brother, he went from 6'1" to 5.9. He's 5'9". That's a lot of inches to lose. He lost 4 inches with the measurement. Bregman lost 1 inch. Gavin Lux lost 3. Ohtani lost, well, actually gained 1. He got taller. That one's popped up. Rice is there. And I found out, David, I never realized this, that they conducted these measurements from 10 in the morning to noon because there's statistical proof that people shrink later in the day. So they wanted to get you for those 2 hours from 10 to noon. That's when they did all the measuring. Aaron Judge remains 6'7". So that was correct. But, yeah, if you're in high school and you're really 5'10", you might tell the coach, well, put in 6 foot. It's not a legal document, but now it becomes very important because every strike zone is shaped to that person's size at the plate.
Who doesn't lie about their size? I know I did.
Oh, 0-2 on J-Rod. And he goes down, swinging through the fastball. 5 strikeouts.
Good sign from Ryan Weathers, starting to settle in here after a lot of pitches the first 2 innings, a little bit of traffic.
is right at Chisholm to retire Naylor. And the Mariners go down 1-2-3 against Weathers. Well, now it's time for DirecTV New Era. Hard hit percentage leaders. Kyle Schwarber led last year. Then Ohtani, Judge, Devers, Wood, and Ben Rice. 55.9% hard hit rate. And he leads off here in the fourth and fouls back. One and one. Rice grounded to second. That was in the second. And he's challenging.
The batter's challenging the pitch.
And he gets it right.
Pitches the ball.
David, I asked you about a pitcher. Can you imagine the umps probably getting chapped too?
It's new for them as well. There's going to be some adjustments there.
Driven out to left field. Rosarena back, still back, and he makes the play in front of the wall. And a strike to Stanton.
You know, to your point, Michael, about the umpires and them emotionally having to deal with it, confidence issues, getting into a bad game or a bad inning, definitely very challenging for the guys. You definitely feel for them.
Foul back.
The flip side is getting the call right matters. And that's what we're trying to do here. And it's obviously working in that regard. And I mentioned earlier, too, nobody's barking at the umpires in the dugouts as much anymore. So in that sense, that's kind of a plus for the umpires, too. You don't hear it all day long. Yankees are famous for that. Aaron Boone's famous for that, really sticking up for his hitters, challenging the umpires. That pitch is low. How many times did you hear that in the dugout? You don't hear it anymore. You know, that part of the game is over, and that might be a good thing for the umpires on that side.
Oh, what a pitch. And Stanton is challenging that. ABS powered by T-Mobile. And they got it right again. The Yankees on fire. And now there is barking from the Yankee dugout as if to tell Estabrook, get it right. Yankees are 4 for 4 in getting it right. So Stanton goes from being punched out to still being at the plate.
Everything I just said, let me take that back.
Popped up left side.
They don't see it.
They don't see it. And it falls. Stanton's going for 2, and he is going to be out. Now he's standing at second, asking the Yankees to challenge that call. They decide not to challenge.
That time of night, just right in the middle of twilight. The shortstop, third baseman, no clue where it was. Such a helpless feeling when you're out there in the field and you can't find the ball.
The batter's challenging the pitch.
Another challenge, this one by Jazz Chisholm. ABS powered by T-Mobile. Yankees get it right again.
I think everything we're talking about is playing out in this inning, Michael. The emotion of the umpire, wearing thin. One chirp from the dugout gets on his nerves, and then he misses another one.
Now, I'm surprised that Stanton went for 2 because the play's right in front of him. And you can't say he's lollygagging. That's the way he runs. That's all he has. So he's running to first as he normally does. But the play's in front of him. I'm surprised he went to second.
I agree. It's almost like he just kept going and they got caught out there where he had to keep going.
Two. Swing and a miss. Chisholm down on strikes. An eventful 4th inning, but the Yankees don't score. Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. Aaron Boone, the final game in San Francisco, had a 700th managerial victory. Joe Girardi's in front of him. Leading is Joe McCarthy. In second place, Joe Torre. Can we put that graphic up again? We just have to take a quick look. Look at Miller Huggins, that rakish tilt of the cap. Look at him. 1,067 victories. He was ahead of his time the way he wore his lid. Fouled away and out of play.
That looks just like the hat that David Wells wore on the mound. Yeah. Joe Torre fined him for it. The old Babe Ruth hat.
There he is. Right to the side. A little attitude to him. The hug man. 1-2. 2-2. Now, Rosarena did something in the series against the Guardians. He challenged the pitch that was called a strike, and he thought it was ball 4. And you know what he did? He took off all of his gear and walked down to first base before it was overturned. Now that's going to tick off an umpire because you're really showing him up. That was, and it was almost like it was outside David by like a third of an inch, and he was that positive, and that is going to anger umpires.
It's an excellent point. And we saw it tonight. Umpires are going to have a shorter leash than ever if there's any chirping from the dugout, because you have the option to challenge as long as you have them left and you don't waste them.
You think it's wearing on Mike Estabrook? This was in between innings. Rough night so far. Swing and a miss. Rosarena down on strikes.
And got him with a high sweeper. Rosarena goes chasing up the ladder. He knows it.
Garver with a ground ball of McMahon. 2 down.
exactly the type of inning that Ryan Weathers needs right now. If he can get this third out quickly, kind of restore order on his pitch count here with 62 in the fourth.
One on Robles. Two outs, bottom of the fourth, 1-0 Seattle. The run scoring on a broken bat single with 2 outs by Cole Young. Scored Randy Arozarena, and that's the only scoring in the game so far. And down goes Robles. 7 strikeout for Weathers in 4 innings. Well, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. You see that lovely young lady in the white Yankee cap? That is Madison Lorenz, Bob Lorenz's daughter. Wow. Now, it's very obvious that she takes after Donna, looks-wise, not Bob. But welcome to Madison. One and one on Ryan McMahon. Bottom third of the order for the Yankees here in the 5th inning. They trail 1-0. Castillo has held them to 1 hit. And that was Stanton's ball that was lost in the twilight and fell in, and it was scored a hit. That's the only base hit for the Yanks. They've reached on a couple of walks and also reached on an E6. Ground ball and grabbed by Naylor. Castillo covering, 1 down. Let's check out one of tonight's player props brought to you by Bet365, where winning is everything. Plus 575. Austin Wells will hit 1 or more home runs. Wells struck out in the 3rd. Check the swing. 1-2-1 for Seattle. 0-1-0 for the Yankees. First game of a 3-game set. All the way, 3-1 on Wells. Caballero on deck. Time called.
You know, the theory is, Michael, you know, you'll get the same pitch on 3-1 that you would on 3-0, so that's why he took the cookie 3-0 right here. He ain't going to take it here if he gets another one right there. Put a little more on. That ball had a little life on it, didn't it? His fastball.
Payoff. Swing and a miss.
can see the look on the hitters' faces because when they go to swing, they swing under it. And that's what that induced vertical break is all about that rising fastball. That's what we used to call the rising fastball because it's sort of an illusion. And you end up swinging under it. You see it well, but you can't square it up.
Caballero tips one into the glove of Garver. Another tip into the glove, 0-2.
Definitely an old school feel about Castillo on the mound. Pitches off his fastball, throws a lot of them, has a lot of conviction with it. Kind of a rarity in today's game too, when a lot of pitchers are pitching away from their fastball. Castillo's very much old school in that regard.
It's so odd, David. People are throwing harder than ever. More pitchers are throwing higher velocity than ever before, and the trend in the sport is they're throwing fewer fastballs.
Certainly with pitch design and some of the different breaks and the sweepers and type of movement these pitchers are getting. Everybody's a little bit different, but Castillo's a kid that's always been this way. This is the way he's pitched his whole career. Hasn't really changed a thing. Almost 70% fastballs.
Checked the swing. Did he go? No, said Alfonso Marquez. Marquez, the crew chief. Lance Barrett at second, Edwin Jimenez at third, and Mike Estabrook behind the plate. Good call. He checked his swing. They're working on a device that tells whether you check your swing or not in the minors.
Yes, without a doubt. Yeah, the demarcation zone is really the foul lines. Right. So for a right-handed hitter, if your bat passes where the foul line would be, then that would be a check swing. Pitch number 8, and this at bat coming up.
Tap slowly in front of the mound. Castillo bobbles, fires, not in time. That'll be an E1. He tried to hurry. He didn't have to, and didn't pick up the ball cleanly.
There's the problem. You gotta push it down on the ground first. He tried to kind of scoop it from the side. Caballero runs way too well. If you're gonna barehand it, you gotta make sure you go down on the top. Use the ground as leverage.
So how about this, David? They scored that one a hit, but the one that Chisholm hit, that the shortstop Rivas went a long way to try to get one off his glove, was an E6. That's a hit. Second hit for the Yanks. And now he's the threat to go. Back to the top of the order, and Trent Grisham 0 for 2. 2 ground balls to second. See if they're going to challenge, and they are. Adler thought he got him.
If he got the glove on him, they're probably right.
Seattle is challenging the safe call at first base.
There's no way the first base umpire could see if the tag was made from his position. Naylor's got to move, and you can see right there, the umpire's behind. He can't see Tough to see there. If he got him, he's out. This might be the best view right here. He's out.
Well, the Mariners see it on the big board. They're walking on the field. Nothing's official yet.
After review, the call is overturned. The runner is out, and Seattle will retain their challenge.
It is a technology-filled ball game and a good challenge by Seattle. A lot of overturned calls and a 1-0 Mariner lead. Back here in Seattle, we go to the bottom of the fifth. It's 1-0 Mariners. Leo Rivas will lead off against Ryan Weathers. What do you say? Threw a cutter to first?
Yes. Yes. Naylor made a heck of a play. Just see a starting pitcher when he gets his rhythm going like Weathers is now. It's so much more under control. Start finding the strike zone more consistently. All the talk about high velocity in today's game and pitchers with maximum effort, I still believe rhythm and tempo are a big key for pitchers. It's just a lot smoother now as he's settling in.
Count is full on the Seattle shortstop. Castillo's pitched very well over 5 innings. Edward Bizzardo is warming for Seattle. Ground ball, base hit past the diving Grisham. Time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Tonight's picture of the Farrington family from Alaska. All 6 of their children are named after Yankee greats. Say hi to Maris, Jeter, Rivera, Ruthie, Mickey, and Judge. Wow. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game. Not a Coney in the group.
No. Rightly so.
I was battling to name my dog Mattingly. Jody put the kibosh on it.
I had a dog named Harley after Handsome Harley Race, who was a famous wrestler.
Oh, really?
Yes. You got to go way back.
Was he in fact handsome, or was it?
He was.
He was.
He was. He was Handsome Harley Race. Famous.
Line drive, it's a base hit. Grisham gets the ball in. Cole Young with his second hit. First and second, nobody out. Back to the top of the order.
Well, that's really well done there. Talk about squaring up a baseball. That's how you do it. That's what it looks like. Double barrel action.
And Matt Blake will talk things over with Weathers. strikeout. Now, the strikeout is strange for him because he only struck out 13.6% of the time. That was 8th best in Major League Baseball. The Mariners struck out the highest percentage for a team in Major League Baseball last year. 24.9%, and that's why they wanted a player like Brendan Donovan where it kind of evens things out a little bit. First and second, nobody out. Rice Fields has one play, makes it. Runners move up, one down. So do they let him face Refsnyder? No, they will not. Here comes Boone. So Weathers 4 1/3, trailing 1-0. Runners on second and third are his responsibility. David, overall, pretty good performance.
Yeah, you know he was very fired up early, so that showed. But he's got good stuff. He's gonna do well.
The Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Nissan. Hop into a Nissan Rogue and hit the road to adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. By Vanguard. Opening week is brought to you by Vanguard. Discipline that delivers. And by Optimum Fiber. Famously fast fiber internet. Bundled up against a cool Seattle evening as the Yankees will go down to the bullpen and call on Fernando Cruz. And the Mariners will go to their bench and send up a pinch hitter. It's Dominic Canzone.
Infield in.
Nice pick there by Wells.
See the fork ball in the dirt. That is a nice pick. That wasn't even a short hop. That was a long hop.
Infield in, as David mentioned. Second and third. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Devastating pitch. The bottom just drops out of it.
One and two. In the outfield, get a red light in Bellinger, yellow light for Grisham, red light for Judge. Looking for the strikeout. And the pitch. 2-2. Rivas at third, Young at second. Cruz on a relief. And zone pinch hitting for Refsnyder. So Wilson going to his bench here in the fifth. Runs her at a premium, trying to get a couple.
Nothing but splitters the whole at-bat.
And a pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. All splitters all the time. Big strikeout.
Save the best one for last. Look at the lack of spin on that baseball. Sort of tumbling dice, as Ken Singleton loved to say. That was a beauty.
So here's Julio Rodriguez. Splitter after splitter. 0-1. That's his money pitch. Last season against the splitter, I'm sorry, David, 178 batting average.
Yes, it's tantalizing when it's thrown well.
Hitters slugged 280 against that pitch. 280 is anemic. Infield backs up with the 2 outs.
Just tell by the body language how surprised Rodriguez was to see a fastball.
Didn't see it again. Now does the pitcher try to outthink the batter here and go, you know, he's expecting the splitter, let me go with the fastball?
If you've got your high quality splitter and you have confidence in it, you throw it again. And it seems like he's feeling it right now. Great finish on that pitch.
Did he go? Did he go? Yes, he did. What a job by Fernando Cruz on a relief of Weathers. Second and third, 1 out, 2 strikeouts out of the inning.
Everybody, Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Blue Jays starting pitcher Cody Ponce, the story today for them. Top of the third, you see him trying to field this ball. He pulls up injured. He spent 4 years in the Korean baseball organization. Jays signed him in the offseason. First appearance since 2021. He's carted off. They're calling it right knee discomfort, guys.
Wow, and they have a lot of injuries on their starting staff. Go around the majors, we talked about C.B. Buckner. Murakami has exploded on the seam, and so has Chase DeLauder of the Guardians with the 4 home runs here in T-Mobile Park, which is not a home run hitting ballpark. Trent Grisham will lead off, and he pops it up. Who's going to get it? Rivas. So how does the starter react? That's how he reacts. Those runners stay stranded. Gave up 1 run in 4 1/3. So here's Judge, 0 for 1 with a walk. Bullpen working for Seattle, but Castillo remains in. Castillo threw 76 pitches in last Monday's spring finale for Seattle, so he's been built up. Rip foul.
Certainly running up against the end here at 90 pitches in the 6th. Gotta let him get to Judge. Bellinger on deck.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Judge didn't think so. He was looking down, getting ready for the next pitch, but he gets punched out by the crew chief, Alfonso Marquez. Boone not enamored with that call.
Another look from the side, right to the borderline. But nonetheless, it's in the books now, and that was Luis Castillo's 1,500th career strikeout.
There's Bellinger. 1-0 Seattle, top of the 6th. One and one. Bellinger fly ball to left and a strikeout tonight. Fly ball left field. Rosarena toward the line. Makes the play in foul territory. Yankees go down in order against Castillo. 6 strong for him. It's time to name that Yankee, brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. 73 and 88. ERA 4.25, 75 saves. Boy, modeled a lot of uniforms. Hit for the Yankees in 96 and 97. I think I know. You know, David?
No. I should. He's my teammate.
Yeah. Jake Bird comes on. First pitch, swung on and missed. By the way, the Yankee bullpen, so far this year, 11 2/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Bird picked up the win in the 3rd game against San Francisco. Now it's time for Discipline That Delivers, brought to you by Vanguard. Cruz came on and did his job with his pitch.
Well, he was the right man in the right spot. 2nd and 3rd, you need a swing and miss reliever. He's your guy. I think I saw 1 fastball the whole sequence with 2 hitters, but he had his good splitter tonight.
And a strike. Yankees like what they've seen of Bird so far. This is what they thought they were going to get when they acquired him at the trade deadline from the Rockies. Didn't pitch well for the Rockies right before the trade deadline. Didn't pitch well for the Yankees in the 3 games, and they sent him down, and they never called him back up. They thought he might have been a little bit fatigued, worn down, but they felt that there was a lot there, and if he threw strikes, he was going to be very effective. So far, he's thrown strikes.
And Michael, you said it, a ton of potential the Yankees saw in Jake Bird, and really a frustrating end of the season for him. But David, he tweaked his pitch mix a little bit, more so sinker slider than he was before. And he said more than anything, he just needed a fresh start this year with the way last year ended. And you look at the final game of that Giants series, he allowed a single, runners on 2nd and 3rd, managed to strike out Willy Adames and then get a huge double play to get out of the inning, just boosting that confidence that much more for Jake Bird. They think they've really found something in him, and he could be a big piece of this bullpen throughout the course of the season.
It's a great point, Meredith. I mean, his fastball is much better already this year than it was last year when he first showed up. 2 ground balls on really good sinkers so far, and he's always had an excellent sweeper. I mean, a big breaking sweeper. But if he can throw that sinker over the plate and get weak contact, that is a game changer for him.
Ryan Yarbrough up in the Yankee pen. (2-0) on Garver. 1-0 Seattle. The only run in the 2nd inning on a broken bat single by Cole Young. That's it. The only scoring. Seattle with 4 hits. The Yankees with 2 against Castillo. 3-0.
Well, you had 2 starting pitchers with above average stuff on a cold night. Tough night to hit.
Grounded to McMahon. The long throw in the dirt, and it's not handled by Rice. So Garver reaches. And that's an E5.
Yes, it is. And you could see we rarely see him make that kind of a throw, but that one hit the grass and I think just kind of handcuffed Rice over at first. that far out in front on the hop, generally first basemen will handle that one. Rice got fooled on it.
Here's Victor Robles, so the inning continues on the E5. One and 0. Bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. So 4 pitchers went on Saturday. Everybody's rested because of the off day yesterday. Probably want to stay away from Bednar. Popped up. Rice. And that'll do it. 1 error, 1 man left. 6 in the books. It's 1-0 Seattle. Play FanDuel's Daily Dinger for free every day for a chance at a profit boost if your selected player hits a home run. And here are the featured home run odds for today's players. Both Grisham and Chisholm at plus 450. Running out of time. We're in the 7th inning. They bring in one of their 2 left-handers, Jose A. Ferrer. He'll face Rice, Stanton, and Chisholm, so he'll get 2 lefties out of the 3. And then McMahon after that, and Wells. Inside. Fourth big league season for Ferrer. They got him in a December trade from the Nationals for Harry Ford and Isaac Lyon. And Harry Ford was highly thought of a high draft pick catcher for Seattle, but no, they've got Raleigh locked up for a while. They made the trade for the left-hander. And their GM, Jerry DiPolo, said that he was their top trade target this offseason. So Castillo was brilliant. 6 strong innings, holding the Yankees to 2 hits and no runs. And there's a base hit. Right center field. Robles will cut it off, and Ben Rice with a hard hit ball against the left-hander.
Just completely squared up. 96 coming in. A lot faster going out. On the button.
105.2 exit velocity. Here's Stanton. Skied the other way. And out of play.
A little New York came out in me there, right? The button. Hit it on the button.
Swung over the change. Luzardo up. And that one gets by as Rice advances to second on the wild pitch.
Yeah, all you can do, like a hockey goalie, to stab at it, try to pick it.
Ground ball, and off the glove of Donovan. Grabbed by the shortstop, Rivas throws to first, not in time. As Stanton reaches, Rice stays put at second.
Yeah, they're going to score this in E5. Good read by Rice at second. And Donovan right at this point's heading back to third. Let's see if you got to make a quick read if you're Rice. You would have had to go almost right away. Once he hesitated, you got to stay.
Here's Chisholm. Grounded foul. Jazz 0 for 2, reached on an E6 and struck out. Second time this game, the Yankees have 2 runners on base in an inning. They did it in the third, first and second with 2 outs. Bellinger struck out. Now first and second, nobody out, and Chisholm at the plate. Rice the tying run at second. 1-2. Now McMahon's on deck. They've got righties they could send up. They've got Rosario, Grichuk, and Goldschmidt if they choose to go that route. This is the third batter that Ferrer is facing, so they could go to Pizzardo if the Yankees do answer with the righty pinch hitter. And you have Wells following that. 2-2. So the wheels are turning in both dugouts right now. Two. Look there at the Yankees' new first base coach, Dan Fiorito. He's from the area. Time was called. It was ball 3. If time was not called, it was a late time that Estabrook allowed Jazz. The 2-2. Still 2-2. In the outfield for Seattle, you got a green light in the person of Rosarena. J-Rod and Robles both have really good arms. Soft ground ball, second base. There's one. That's all they'll get. Moving to third is Rice. And the Yankees do call back McMahon.
Especially with a man on third base and scoring position with only one out. In a 1-0 game, it makes a lot of sense to make this move.
So it's going to be Rosario, and Wilson has to decide, do I want to bring in the righty and then have the righty face Wells, who's on deck? Wilson's on the top step of the dugout, and he's waiting for the announcement, and it looks like he is going to make the pitching change. So managers going chest to chest, see who wins this chess match. Yankees hockey jersey night is back for 2026. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, April 17th, when the Yankees take on the Royals. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees hockey jersey, courtesy of StubHub. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. So it's Pizzardo coming on. Good year last year, 82 strikeouts and 78 2/3. Third appearance this season. And comes in a big spot. Rosario, who's so good against lefty pitching, will stay in there now and face Pizzardo with runners on first and third with one man out. Rice is at third. Chisholm a threat to go. He is at first. 1-0 Seattle, top of the 7th. Slow sweeper. 0-1. A lot of movement. Infield back for the double play. Runner goes. Fly ball right field. On the run, Robles, and that's going to make the seats out of play. Chisholm had a pretty good jump.
Yeah, Jazz had it. You can see Rosario just trying to make contact there, just trying to put the ball in play. Mariners conceding the run on the infield, so any contact on the ground or in the air, the outfield gets the run, gets this game tied.
Runner goes again. There's the contact to the outfield. Rodriguez makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Rice. Heading back to first, Jazz Chisholm. It's a sac fly. Pinch hit sac fly. And the game is tied at 1. Good situational hitting.
Yeah, it's just a very professional at-bat by Rosario. Veteran right-hander coming through in the clutch.
So here's Wells. Luzardo's season ended on a devastating note last year. He gave up the home run to George Springer in Game 7 of the ALCS. That turned a 3-1 7th-inning lead into a 4-3 loss and sent Seattle home. Tap, left side. Donovan will get Wells. And that'll do it. But the Yankees tie the score. Rosario off the bench for the sac fly. Time for the stretch. It's a 1-1 game.
Time for your Ford Studio update. Bob and Jack with you, and the Yankees doing a nice job pushing a run across there in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, good at-bat by Rosario with that sacrifice fly to tie up the game. And when the Yankees headed into this season, Bob, they talked about how they wanted to give Aaron Boone more options off the bench for those lefty-righty matchups. There's an example of it right there. Rosario hitting for McMahon. Now it's a bullpen game. Yankee bullpen hasn't allowed a run all season.
Well, we'll see what happens from here. Look forward to recapping it all on the postgame a little later. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, guys. 1-3-1 for the Yanks. 1-4-2 for Seattle. Ryan Weathers, Yankee debut. He went 4 1/3. He had 7 strikeouts, allowed 1 run. Rosario, the pinch hit sac fly, stays in at 3rd. Castillo was excellent, and Cole Young, the young second baseman for Seattle, 2 for 2, and he's driven in their only run. So Brent Hedrick will come on, and will face 8, 9, and 1 in the Seattle order. So Cruz and Bird an inning and 2/3 without allowing a run. And now it's Hedrick's turn.
Cruz was exceptionally filthy today. Had his A-game splitter working.
Strike 3, right down the middle. Take a look at the Optimum Fiber famously fast replay, and this is the only run for the Mariners.
Sawed him off. but dumped it in there.
Young, 22 years old, second big league season, came up, and it was all about his glove, but it didn't turn out that way last year. He was -9 outs above average, and that was the second worst mark among American League second basemen. Major League second baseman Brandon Lau was the worst at -14. And now when he crushes to right field, it's a base hit, it's going to get to the wall. Judge will get it in. And Cole Young is 3 for 3.
Well, you can see this breaking ball that kind of stays up and out over the plate, and he just hooks it down the line.
Here's Donovan back to the top of the order, 0 for 2 with a walk. And a strike. In the 4 games against Cleveland, he had 6 hits. Hit a leadoff home run on opening day, welcoming himself to Seattle. 1-2. And that's a base hit to left field. Bellinger comes up, and they will hold Young at third. So Donovan with a hit. Runners on the corners, 1 out. And they're going to go to the bench and bring on the man who hit 60 home runs last year, Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, that'll get the crowd going. See, on the year, Michael, that's what you're talking about, the slow start, 2 for 15. I think I misstated his home run total batting right-handed last year. I believe it was more like 22 he had. And you see Aaron Boone's going to come out, or actually Matt Blake's coming out.
Last year, Raleigh, 119 starts behind the plate, 38 starts at DH. So you could tell he played in 157 games. And for him to have a day off in day 5, game 5, for a mental break, according to Dan Wilson, well, that mental break now turns into a big pinch hit appearance. As a pinch hitter, 289 and 47 plate appearances, 4 home runs, 11 ribbies. Those are good numbers for a regular player. Yankees have the infield back, looking for the double play. Last year, 5 for 23 against the Yankees. But of the 5, 2 left the yard. We mentioned he finished second in a very, very close vote for MVP. Finished second to Aaron Judge. Crowd chanting MVP. Count 2-0 to the pinch hitter Raleigh. So he's pinch hitting for Canzone. Rob Refsnyder started the game as a DH.
And Rodriguez on deck. See, Aaron Boone likes this matchup, the lefty against Raleigh batting right-handed here. One way or another, this will be Hedrick's last hitter.
Two and two. First and third, one out. Bottom of the 7th. Swing and a miss. Raleigh's struggles continue.
Oh, what a comeback by Hedrick here. A heck of an at-bat. You see falls behind. Couple of sliders down and in. Raleigh's in the driver's seat. Doesn't give in. Gets him to swing over a slider. Another slider. And then how about the splitter at the end? He saved that one in his back pocket for the finish. What a comeback. Well done.
Well, Doval has been warming. You've got J-Rod up. They're having a conference at the mound. Not sure if they're doing that to give Doval a little bit more time. But that would seem to be the automatic move. But the Yankees do like the way Hedrick's stuff plays against right-handed batters.
Yeah, especially after that last splitter. I'm surprised, though.
This seems like a little bit of a stall, David.
Feels like it.
They're going to stay with Hedrick. Rodriguez 1 for 18 this year. He's 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts.
Surprised. No, I'm not. Here he comes.
You can see Ausmus on the phone, so he needed more throws in the bullpen. And they worked the time. First with the meeting among the infielders. Then they acted as if they were going to let him pitch, and then Boone takes a slow walk out.
Shades of Tommy Lasorda, who was the king at the stall tactics, waiting till the last minute.
So that'll do it for Hedrick. Coming on Doval, who has been money in the early going. Let's see how he does now. It's time to name that Yankee. Guys play for a lot of teams. I think they tied it all together, David.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to work through all those teams. Yeah, that's stormy.
David Weathers in the stands tonight watching his son make his Yankee debut, and he actually pitched quite well. Speaking of pitching quite well, David Weathers was a big part of that 96 championship team.
That's the one right there. He had a good slider. Juan Gonzalez was wearing us out. And then, of course, in the World Series against Ripken in the playoffs. Some big outs. You know, people talk about those Yankee dynasty years. All those guys came through big. Our entire bullpen. Everybody talks about Mariano at the end, and he was great. One of the greatest postseason pitcher of all time. But across the board, those guys really came through.
Here is Doval. His stuff in San Francisco was absolutely filthy. First and third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th. 1-1 game. 0-1. Young at third. Donovan at first. Seattle has 6 hits and 1 run. The Yankees 3 hits and 1 run. Runner goes. Big jump. That one is chopped. Jazz Chisholm fields. Fires. And the Yankee bullpen perfect so far in the early going. They have not allowed a run. A big out there by Doval. We go to the 8th. The New York Yankee Foundation's opening day 50-50 raffle. It's now open this Friday, April 3rd. The home opener has a guaranteed jackpot starting at $50,000. One lucky fan will take home half the pot, and the other half benefits the Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at Yankees.com/5050. How about the Yankee bullpen so far, David?
Been great. Doval, if that sinker holds up, I mean, wow, what a game changer that's going to be for him. Developing a new sinker where the bottom drops out of it. A real weapon.
They bring in another left-hander, Gabe Spire. And he'll face Caballero, Grisham, and Judge. Castillo started, then Ferrara and Bizzardo. The Yankee run in the 7th was unearned because of the error by Donovan on the Stanton ground ball. Two and 0. Caballero gets on, obviously a threat to go. Last year, an 82-11 strikeout ratio for Spire. Had a 2.61 ERA last year. He's 30 years old, 8th big league season. What he does, he throws 4-seamers in the zone against righties, sinkers, inside against lefties. And he throws sliders to both of them.
You can see, right to your point, Michael. 4-seamer right there. Fouled off.
Strike 3, right there.
Just got caught looking for something else. Just guessing. Sometimes you get that with hitters. They're guessing, thinking off speed. You end up taking one right down the chute.
And that's why some hitters don't like to guess, because you can look bad taking a fastball right down the middle. And our colleague Paul O'Neill said he never guessed. He'd sit on the fastball and react to anything else.
Yeah, Derek Jeter said that as well. Every time he looked for a fastball.
Oh and 2 on Grisham. We're in the 8th inning of a 1-1 game. First game of this 3-game set at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. One and 2.
Blackburn's been up once before. He's up again and going to come in.
Swing and a miss. Spire dealing. Aaron Judge comes up. We take a look at the exit velocity on his 2 home runs this year, presented by Spectrum. 109.1, the first of the year. 102.1, the one on Saturday.
Yeah, he almost broke the ambulance.
One and 0. Judge, ground ball to third, a walk and a strikeout tonight. And that one is through the right side for a base hit. Not your typical Judgian hit, kind of off the end of the bat.
Got just enough of it. You can see there the ball's up and away. Hit them where they ain't.
Here's Bellinger 0 for 3. Bellinger not quite neutralized against lefties. Had great numbers last year. A tough lefty on the mound right now, and Gabe Spire. First base, Naylor. That'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Carlos Rodon threw a 50-pitch live session yesterday, currently on the 15-day IL, and he's recovering from left elbow surgery. I don't know what these kids are recovering from, but they're heading toward a little bit of a cold. Could be on tomorrow's injury report. It's cold. So Josh Naylor will lead off over the mound. And Caballero makes the play. So the first batter faced by Blackburn is retired. The Yankees have used 5 relievers in this game. Here's Randy Arozarena. And a strike. Bottom of the 8th inning, 1-1. Yankees trying to go 4-0. Caballero gobbles it up. 2 down. T-Mobile members get free MLB.TV. Redeem at T-Mobile.com/MLB. So here's Mitch Garver, started behind the plate today in place of Cal Raleigh. Raleigh entered the game as a pinch hitter last inning and struck out. He pinch hit for the designated hitter, Dominic Canzone. On Garver. That brash.
The Mariners have been loaded with pitching for the last several years. Brash has excellent stuff down there. Castillo started tonight. Was exceptional. So that's what makes them a contender. The overall depth of their pitching.
How about that? Garver walks on 4 pitches. Yankee Brain Trust bundled up. So here's Robles. Swung on a miss. Robles 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a pop-up to Rice. Seattle with 6 hits, the Yankees with 4. Seattle 2 errors, the Yankees 1. Both teams have their 2 ABS challenges. Every challenge the Yankees have made, successful. So you retain your challenge. Rosario. And a good inning for Blackburn. Mariners strand 1. We go to the 9th, all tied at 1. Well, tomorrow night on Yes, the Yankees and Mariners continue this battle in Seattle. Coverage begins at 8:30 with Audi batting practice today in the pregame. Then first pitch scheduled for 9:35 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Opening week is presented by Vanguard. Time for a Car Shield defensive player profile. Outs above average leaders since 2022. Varsho of the Blue Jays, 51. Isbell, 44. Pete Crow Armstrong just got a new contract, 39. Jose Siri, 39. And then J-Rod with 38, tied with Jacob Young. And Matt Brash takes over and deals a ball. 58 strikeouts in 47 1/3 innings last year.
And he's always been able to spin a baseball. Excellent slider, sweeper.
"27 years old, 4th big league season. His entrance music is Fireman by Lil Wayne. Certainly fitting for a reliever. He led the majors last year, David, in horizontal break. 10.4 inches more than the average slider.
Yes, it's a big breaker. It's a buzzsaw.
So Rice has worked the count to full at 3-2. Rice has scored the Yankees' only run. That came in the 7th inning. Led off the inning with a single right center off the Seattle bullpen. There's a ground ball. And Rivas makes the play to retire Rice. So we're in the 9th inning of a 1-1 game. Yankees scores in San Francisco. They won 7-0 the opener, then 3-0, then 3-1. Here's Stanton. A single and reached on an E5. Also struck out. And a strike. Came back from Tommy John surgery last year. 29% strikeout rate in 53 games. Line into left center field. It's a base hit. Cutting over a Rosarena, gets by him, and it will go to the wall. The 4th straight multi-hit game for Giancarlo Stanton. Let's see if they pinch run for him.
We got that slider on the inner half of the plate, and Giancarlo made him pay.
And Randall Grichuk will take over at second base in place of Stanton. It's the best start he's ever gotten off to. 4 straight games with multi-hits. So Jazz Chisholm with an opportunity to give the Yankees the lead. And a strike. Bednar warming for the Yankees in their pen. Well, Grichuk thought about going to third. Ball got away, but not too far from Garver.
A steady diet of sliders from Brash. See, Grichuk thought about it, as Michael said, but made the right call. A heck of a take right there by Jazz Chisholm on a nasty changeup.
Close take there as well, and the count now 3-1. Broken bat, slow roller. Young Fields fires, gets Chisholm, and moving to third is Grichuk. So that'll bring up Rosario. He's driven in the Yankees' only run. He pinch hit from McMahon in the 7th and got a sac fly. Drove in Rice from third. Well, now there's 2 outs with a runner on third. Good velocity there for a strike. There's that slider 0-2. His money pitch gets the money out. We go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 1. Well, fans, stay tuned. After the final out for tonight's WB Mason Yankees postgame, as Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry will have highlights and analysis. Meredith Marakovitz gets player interviews in the clubhouse. We'll hear from Aaron Boone on the manager's report. It's all coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Yankee bullpen this season, 14 2/3 innings, 7 hits, no runs, 5 walks, and 16 strikeouts. Blackburn remains in the game, pitched the scoreless 8th inning. Now bottom of the 9th inning, 1-1. Young takes low, 1-0. Young's 3 for 3, and he drove in the Mariners' only run. Check, Young's on deck. This is Rivas. Rivas is 1 for 3. One and 1. Hit shortly and past a diving Rice. So a base hit for Rivas. The winning run is on base.
A little off speed. Spinning in the middle of the plate. Just by.
A little old-time baseball here, David. A bunt?
It's possible. 9th inning.
Rosario in on the grass, not bunting. And there's a strike. Young, as we mentioned, 3 for 3.
See, Rosario at third base really cheated in, to your point, Michael.
High fly ball right field. Judge makes the play, 1 out. Brendan Donovan, 1 for 3 and a walk. will squeeze through for a base hit. Rivas rounds second. He's going to third. Throw comes into second. And the winning run is 90 feet away, and Cal Raleigh coming to the plate.
Send Matt Blake out. Got Tim Hill warming up. We'll stay right here. Cal Raleigh bat left-handed. Or rather, Yarborough warming up.
Now, if you believe in due, this guy is due. I mean, this guy had a year for the ages last year. 60 home runs for a catcher, for anybody. And he has really struggled in the early going. Didn't start today to get a mental break. Came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and struck out. So now a chance to win the game. Switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty Blackburn. Yankees back for the double play. 1-0. Julio Rodriguez also struggling early. He's on deck. Off the mask of Mike Estabrook. One count. Rivas at third with the winning run. Donovan's at first. Big block there by Wells. Saves the game. Bottom of the 9th inning, 1-1. The 2-1. Hit sharply. Fair ball. Ball game. Rivas scores. Raleigh gets an RBI single, and Seattle wins 2-1.
Stayed on the plate just enough. Got inside of it, kept it fair, and after Michael said not starting the game, a mental break, he gets a mental lift at the end. So the Yankees suffer their first loss of the young season. They go to 3-1. Mariners 3-2. They win this one 2-1. Suffer their first loss of the season. Game-changing drive of the game brought to you by Audi and the all-new Audi Q3. We talked a lot about Cal Raleigh and his struggles this year. His great year last year with a big dumper came through right there with a game winner. And just by his body language, you can tell he needed that one. And on the mound, the player of the game, brought to you by Chevrolet, is Luis Castillo, who just picked up right where he left off, really his entire career. Rock solid. Fastball pitcher, up in the zone, hard to hit, gets a lot of deception, a lot of movement. 6 shutout innings, 7 punchies. The first run the Yankee bullpen allows this year by Paul Blackburn results in them losing 2-1. Took 2 hours and 45 minutes. Brash the win, Blackburn the loss. Weathers pitched well in his Yankee debut, and Cal Raleigh with the walk-off single. Coming up on the S Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the S Network is Jared Ames Bosnack.
Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees continue this 3-game set here in Seattle. Coverage begins at 8:30 p.m. on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 9:30. Once again, the final score, the Mariners 2 and the Yankees 1. For David Cohn and Meredith Moragovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Now, let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, who are standing by with the post-game show. Guys?
Michael, thank you. It is great to have you with us here on the WB Mason post game as the Yanks go to Seattle and lose this one 2-1. Strategy, the storyline of this one. Some ABS challenges paying off for the Yankees. But in the end, strategy of do you pitch to Cal Raleigh or not? He was second in the MVP to Aaron Judge last year. He ends up coming up with the game-winning hit. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
Yeah, a lot to dissect about what happened in that 9th inning. The Yankee bullpen had been flawless until the 9th inning of this game. 14-plus scoreless innings this season. And Bob, you laid out the details there. It's a 1st and 3rd situation. Blackburn on the mound. You've got Cal Raleigh stepping up to the plate. Didn't start this game, but was brought in as a pinch hitter. Hit 60 home runs last year. Is a guy who you know in those situations is going to be a dangerous at-bat. If you walk him, on deck is Julio Rodriguez. You would go right on right with Blackburn against Rodriguez, but the Yankees feel that Blackburn can get righties and lefties out. Boone elects to have Blackburn go against Kyle Raleigh, and Raleigh was at a really slow start to the season, 2 for his first 16. He makes the Yankees pay for it. It's a debate to have about whether or not you want to put Raleigh on base and then have Blackburn with the bases loaded go up against Rodriguez. The Yankees are playing at double play depth for Raleigh, believing that if he hit the ball on the ground, they could turn a double play, take the game to extra innings. Did not happen. I'm really curious to hear Aaron Boone's explanation and his mindset about why the Yankees went in that direction.
And we will hear from Boone coming up in just a bit. But let's check the late game highlights in this one, brought to you by your local Ford stores, because this was a good shootout the whole way. Top of the 7th, Jose Ferrer replacing Luis Castillo, and Ben Rice smokes one back up the middle. It's a leadoff single. He would then advance on a wild pitch, and Stanton's at the plate.
Yeah, Stanton has had a terrific start to the season. Hits this one hard to the left side. Donovan can't handle it. Stanton's going to beat it out after the ricochet. It's an E5. Yankees got a couple runners on.
Now, strategy, since we're talking about that, pinch hitter now, Ahmed Rosario.
Yeah, and this is what the Yankees talked about in the offseason, wanting to give Boone options. Rosario, the righty, pinch hits for McMahon, the lefty, and it works. Professional at-bat, sacrifice fly, game is tied at 1.
You mentioned Raleigh came in to pinch hit in this game. Bottom of the 7th, he was up with runners at the corners and 1 out.
In this spot, you look out at the Yankee mound, and you've got Hedrick on the mound, and what a terrific job by Hedrick. Sliders after sliders until he throws a splitter and strikes him out.
Yanks turn to Camilo Doval to face the Mariners center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to, with runners at 1st and 3rd, chop a sinker back up the middle. Just 2 pitches, ground ball to Chisholm, out of danger, and it is still a 1-1 game. Take it to the top of the 9th, a runner on 3rd for the Yanks and 2 outs.
Yeah, and Matt Brash just throws a nasty slider. Rosario is at the plate trying to bring in that run from 90 feet away, but he bites on that slider. That's biting away from him. Yankees go down.
And then here we go. Bottom of the 9th, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. They stick with Blackburn with Yarborough up in the pen to go against the lefty Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh was 3 for 11 in his career against Blackburn. Make it 4 for 12 as he delivers the RBI single down the right field line. Sluggish start to the season for him. Ends with a walk-off win. Ends with a bubblegum bucket on top of your head. And ends with some questions about why the Yankees made that decision.
Optimum players in the game are the Seattle pitchers tonight. Luis Castillo made his season debut. He allowed no runs, 6 innings pitched. Ferrer comes in, gives up the 1 run. It was unearned. And then Basardo, Spire, and Brash getting the job done. So not a big night offensively, certainly, for either of these teams, but it was a good shootout to the end.
Yeah, it was, and the Yankees have been so reliant on pitching so far this season, and that was the case again tonight. Weathers pitched into the 5th inning. A couple of those early long at-bats in the 1st and 2nd, Bob, ended up costing him. He's out with 1 out in the 5th inning, but Cruz comes in throwing that splitter, so he's the first reliever out of the bullpen. We said on the pregame, expect the bullpen to be the key to this game, because we didn't expect that Weathers would pitch very deep into the game, and a succession of Yankee relievers did their job. After Doval got the 1 out in the 7th inning, the Yankees elected not to bring him back out for the 8th. It was Blackburn for the 8th and Blackburn again for the 9th, and that 9th ends up foiling the potential for the Yankees to win this game.
Again, we're going to hear from Aaron Boone about that coming up. Let's dig into Ryan Weathers, though. His first start as a Yankee tonight. Has the high-octane stuff, can get it up there 100 miles per hour, and able to use the fastball effectively tonight, like on that pitch to Refsnyder.
Yeah, I thought the fastball was his best pitch tonight, Bob. You see his numbers, 77 pitches across 4 1/3, the 7 strikeouts, but he did a really nice job of making sure that he limited damage. Even in the inning where the Mariners got the 1 run, they could have done more damage. He didn't allow that to happen. You see him go up top to get Rodriguez there. You're looking fastball. How about this sweeper upstairs to Arozarena? Still in the 4th, gets Robles on a changeup. So the stuff is there for Weathers. I think that he would probably say he wishes he could be more efficient, but clearly the 4-seamer and the sweeper, his best pitches tonight.
Yeah, there were some 7 and 8 pitch at bats as we take a look at the pitching decisions presented by Sage. 3 of his strikeouts on that 4-seamer. He did give up a couple walks, and Jack, early in the game, maybe he needed to get settled in, got behind on some hitters, which is exactly what David Cone said. And when you're amped up like that, you do not want to do, and Aaron Boone even echoed that in his pregame comments.
I think your phrase is exactly what was happening, Bob, trying to get settled in. We heard Warren talk after his first start this season about being amped up to start the season. He threw his 2 fastest pitches of his career, Warren did, in the 1st inning of his first start. I think that Weathers was in that same situation, but listen, the guy gave up 1 run. If the Yankee offense did its job, Weathers, as long as he would have pitched 5 innings, might have a W near his name. So I think when you really dig in on the pitches and you see that fastball that's got some ride to it, and you see the sweeper and you see the changeup and his ability to use them, if he can dominate in the strike zone as the Yankees believe that he can, this is going to be a real find for them in the rotation.
We're going to take our first break here on the WB Mason postgame. A lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll hear from Aaron Boone. Big-time strategy in that 9th. Sticking with Blackburn, sticking it with him against Raleigh. We'll hear about that coming up.
The Yankees post-game show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Count on who but WB Mason for next-day free business delivery of Blizzard Spring Water. The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Your game summary has Seattle winning the opener against the Yankees 2-1. 9 hits for the Mariners, the 2 runs. Yanks with just 5 hits. Ryan Weathers goes 4 1/3, strikes out 7. Luis Castillo struck out 7 as well. And again, comes down to some big-time strategy there in the 9th about what to do with Raleigh at the plate. Let's get all the logic coming from Aaron Boone and the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, first time Blackburn was out there this season. Just what were you seeing from him there in that 9th?
Yeah, they found the holes with a couple balls. They hit him sharp on the ground, but I thought he managed contact well, getting him on the ground. I thought he threw the ball well. You know, clean 8th there. You know, and then with the tie and being a little short down there, you know, liked him through the bottom of the order there. They found a couple holes and beat us.
To start this one off, it was Ryan Weathers getting his first start as a New York Yankee. Overall, what did you think of his stuff?
Yeah, I thought good, you know, especially, you know, comes out, walks the leadoff man, you know, and gets behind the 2-hitter 3-1 and works his way back into it. And, you know, able to get into the 5th, you know, I thought kind of got better as he went along. You know, they started to put back-to-back batters on before I took him out there. But overall, I thought he threw the ball pretty well.
How much do you think early on it was him just trying to get comfortable on the mound, first time out, new team?
Yeah, I mean, all that, you know, that first outing of the year, you know, cold night, you're kind of finding your way. So overall, I thought he managed it well, gave us a chance to win a game.
with Castillo. What made him so effective throughout?
Yeah, we were having a hard time, I felt like, with his fastball was playing up tonight. You know, that low slot, you know, he's able to generate some swings and misses at the top, and he had, I thought, with his fastball, was getting us to swing through some pitches.
We went 2 pitches with Doval. Did you not want to go 2 ups with him?
Yeah, just not wanting to go 2 ups with him. I felt like that's kind of the game right there with Julio up, so I was like going to take my shot right there, and felt like I liked Blackburn behind him with a clean inning down through the bottom. So yeah, I just wanted to take my shot there with Camilo.
Is that more of an early season thing with him, or?
Yeah. I mean, you know. I'm sure eventually he'll have plenty 2 ups, but not something I want to do a lot with him necessarily, and probably not necessarily early in the year with him either.
You said you were short down there. Was that just because of the amount of guys you had already used?
Yeah, exactly. So once we're tied there, you got Bednar for an inning. We're going through the bottom, so if we're going to win that game. Just felt like our best way to go was Black, and I thought he managed contact for the most part there, even in that final inning.
What's impressed you most about the way he stands swinging the bat now?
It's just, man, everything. He's been locked in. I feel like really from day one in spring training, it's just been quality at bats all around. I just think as much as anyone really understands who he is. His experience really plays for him, and obviously he's still very lethal, and his bat speed and strength is just such a strength for him.
Even right to face the lefty kind of the later innings, is that an indication of where?
Yeah. Yeah. Benny. We trust him in those spots, and he's going to have those opportunities.
Because another good night on challenges,
Yeah. I mean, really good job by the guys. When you have that kind of success rate, it's not going to be like that every night. But I thought everyone was obviously warranted, and a couple in some key spots to give us a chance to build an inning. We just weren't able to build much offensively tonight.
Is that kind of a momentum thing when 3 straight batters do it back to back?
It probably can be a little bit. You also get a little frustrated over there. Like, let's, you don't want to. Those are razor thin pitches sometimes. You don't want to always have to be challenging, but good on the guys for just hammering the strike zone right now.
Here and the guys in the studio were talking about potentially thinking about walking Raleigh to get to Rodriguez. Any consideration at all there? No. I mean, then you're just bringing a no margin for error and a walk in play, and you got both guys that are kind of struggling to get out of the gates. So no. And obviously Julio is going to be tough to double up, or almost impossible, so we're going to have to bring the infield in that situation. So no thoughts of that. And especially we view Paul as very neutral and even reverse, from a projection standpoint.
Good explanation there at the end, and why you don't walk Raleigh, because if you have a chance to double up Julio Rodriguez, probably not going to be the case had you loaded the bases, and that causes a little bit of havoc too if a pitcher gets behind.
Yeah, you always appreciate what goes into the thought process in that situation. We pointed out that the Yankees believe that Blackburn can get righties and lefties out. We pointed out that they were playing at double play depth to Raleigh, which obviously with Julio Rodriguez, you're not believing that you could turn a double play, but did want to know what the strategy was there, because you just look at Raleigh's resume. Not that J-Rod doesn't also have a glossy resume, but you see that batter up there in that spot, and Blackburn was hoping for the grounder. As Aaron Boone pointed out, he got 3 ground outs in the 8th. The baseballs were hit on the ground against him in the 9th. He went cutter heavy against Raleigh in that at-bat, Bob, and finally the 3rd cutter of that at-bat was just out a little bit where Raleigh could extend and do some damage, and the Yankees were looking for some length from Blackburn tonight based on the way that their bullpen was aligned in terms of who was available.
All right, we're going to take another break. More coming up here on the WB Mason postgame. Reaction from Ryan Weathers in his Yankees debut tonight in Seattle, so stick around.
Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Tri-State Audi dealer.
The New York Yankee Foundation's opening day 50-50 raffle is open now. The Friday, April 3rd home opener has a guaranteed jackpot starting at $50,000. One lucky fan will take home half the pot, and the other half benefits the Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at yankees.com/5050. Let's take a look at memorable moments presented by Prevagen, made for your brain. Just a couple runs allowed to Seattle tonight, one against the Giants. So fewest runs allowed through the first 4 games of the season in franchise history. This is it, 2026, with just 3 total runs allowed. Ryan Weathers allowed just the 1 run in this one. Let's hear from Weathers about his debut Yankees outing.
Ryan, it seemed like they made you work early, a couple of walks in the first 2 frames. How were you able to kind of settle in and find your rhythm out there?
Yeah, I think definitely nerves in the first. Just a new team. Just was excited to throw and just got a little bit out of myself in the first. Bounced back well in the first. Feel like I threw the ball well from there on out. I think it's just got behind in counts, Just you got to trust my stuff over the middle of the plate and get ahead in the count.
How did you calm yourself down and get yourself on track?
Definitely after I got the first out, that eased the nerves a lot. Max and Matt just talking to me in the dugout and just saying, like, let my arm be flowy and go be yourself. Don't try to be perfect and try to paint the corners. And that really helped me a lot.
Ryan, you were pretty fired up watching Cruz get out of that. What was that like for you?
That was great. I mean, he came in and cleaned up my mess, he made 2 really good pitches. I thought our whole team threw the ball well all night. Seattle threw the ball well. It was just definitely a pitcher's duel. But, all of our staff threw the ball extremely well.
Cruz in particular, just how nasty did that splitter look from your vantage point?
The bottom fell out of it. So he's got obviously a really good splitter, and I got to see it firsthand tonight.
What is the feeling on this rotation with the way that you guys have started the season, just 2 runs overall for the starters?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, like I said, the whole pitching staff's doing well, obviously starters and relievers. We've given up 3 runs as a whole entire pitching staff. That's, really good. And, hopefully we can keep getting outs and keep it rolling.
Does the cold weather affect you at all?
I don't want to make excuses, but it's definitely tough tonight. When it's just cold like that, it's hard to kind of grip the baseball a little bit. But everything, luckily went smoothly, and just excited for the next one.
What do you take away from this one?
Definitely want to be more efficient and want to be in the zone a little bit more. I don't want to hang my hat on 4 1/3 innings. I want to get deeper into the ball game, and a lot of that comes from managing pitch count myself and not falling behind in counts.
Didn't you say that at least twice tonight? He was not pitch efficient, which he wanted to be. Again, Aaron Boone, prior to the game, talked about Weathers taking the ball, and that was one of his concerns, if he was getting behind in counts, putting himself behind the 8 ball. So you look at Weathers kind of reviewing the tape of this one, and you can see he'll probably be better in start number 2.
Starts the game off with a leadoff walk, which, of course, no pitcher wants to do. And you heard him talk about not maybe feeling himself in the first inning, feeling he's trying to get acclimated to this new team. Of course, there's some nerves. Of course, there's some excitement. But 4 1/3 innings, 77 pitches. You want to be able to go deeper when you throw 77 pitches. But when I watched Ryan Weathers tonight, Bob, here's my takeaway. You want to see more. You want to see him with that arsenal be efficient, as he talked about. Because if he is efficient and he is doing what he did with his pitches tonight, this is a guy who can go deeper into games and give the Yankees some solid starts.
Yeah, and 7 strikeout is no joke. I mean, you get that, you're in pretty good shape. All right, we got to take another break. More coming up on the WB Mason postgame as we recap this one. Seattle winning the opener at T-Mobile 2-1.
The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Only at your local Hyundai dealer. The Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on.
Check out our FanDuel Casino thrills of the game. And, Jack, it was Yankees ABS challenges. Very successful against the Giants. They were again tonight in Game 1.
Yeah, top of the third, Caballero ends up getting this pitch overturned. And then the next one, he's called out strike 3. Not yet. Taps the helmet. He goes 2 for 2 in this at-bat and ends up getting a walk.
Top of the fourth, Ben Rice, 1-1 count, slider down, overturned to a ball, 1.5 inches below the zone. It was going to be a tough night for Mark Estabrook.
Yeah, Stanton is going to challenge that one. He's going to be successful, less than a tenth of an inch. And then Jazz Chisholm, the next batter, he's also going to challenge that 2-2 slider. It was overturned by more than an inch. Yes, Estabrook is wiping the sweat off his brow. Yankees go 5 for 5. They're now 10 of 11 in challenges, Bob, and the 10 successful challenges are the most in the majors.
The one thing it does point out, and I don't know if you can sustain this for an entire season, but just how good some of the hitters' eyes are in terms of knowing what their specific strike zone is.
Right. If you look at the ABS system when it was in AAA, they said that the number of challenges that were successful were right around 50%. Now, it's a small sample size, but for the Yankees to be 10 out of 11, I know from my fractions, that's a lot closer to 90% than 50%. We'll see if they remain successful. You're right. They have some guys in that lineup who know the strike zone very well.
All right, we are going to keep moving on. Coming up next here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app, it's our Yankees Extra Innings Live as the postgame continues right after this. We continue on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. It is Extra Innings Live. It's great to have you with us as the Yanks fall in Game 1 of the 3-game series in Seattle, 2-1. It was a shootout to the end. Cal Raleigh winning it with a walk-off. Good to have you back, Bob and Jack, with you. Let's dig into the key moments of the game, the turning points of the game. Brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And Jack, bottom of the second, Ryan Weathers against Cole Young. It's the only run in the first 6 innings.
Yeah, we've talked about how Weathers wants to throw the sinker more. He threw it to a lefty there. Young just punches it into right field. The number 9 batter with the RBI single. Mariners go ahead 1-0.
Strategic move paying off for Aaron Boone. First and third, Ahmed Rosario pinch hitting in the 7th for Ryan McMahon. Gets the ball into center field. Good for the sac fly to tie the game at 1. Now a chance in the bottom of the 7th for the Mariners to take a lead, runners at the corners.
Doval threw 2 pitches. You're seeing one of them. He gets Julio Rodriguez to ground out the second. Chisholm with the play. And the Yankees, because of Doval, get through the 7th, still even at 1.
Blackburn pitched the 8th, back out there in the 9th, and with runners at first and third and 1 out, that was the game-winning hit for Cal Raleigh, the walk-off single down the right field line as the Mariners win it 2-1. So again, just 5 hits for the Yankees. Grisham, Bellinger, and Chisholm go 0 for 4. Austin Wells had a couple strikeouts as the Yankees, as a team, went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Let's hear from Wells post-game.
Austin, first time out there for Ryan Weathers this season. Just what were you seeing from your vantage point? How does his stuff look?
I thought he came out and looked great. You know, he battled through the first couple innings, getting his feel, and then had some really good shutdown innings after that.
Did you sense that maybe there was some added adrenaline, some nerves early on from him?
I don't really know. It was my first time catching him, so I'm not sure.
With Cruz, you saw him a lot last year. Just what did you think of the splitter tonight?
I mean, it's one of the best pitches in baseball. I mean, came in there and did exactly what he did all last year, and hopefully going to do all this year.
Castillo so tough.
Sorry, say that.
What makes Castillo so tough to hit?
I don't know. I didn't touch anything from him, so you got to ask somebody else.
What do you mean, just the way the entire pitching staff has performed this far?
Unbelievable. These guys came in ready. You know, came out, had a great spring, and then have carried it on into the first couple games here. They're all pitching really, really well.
What looks different about Doval to you?
I mean, not a whole lot. It's different. I think he's filling up the zone, getting ahead, and you know, he looks great, and he's filling it up early.
Ryan was talking about how he thought that maybe he just needs to throw the ball over the plate and let his stuff do its job. Do you feel like he was trying to be a little bit too fine on some points?
I agree with him, but I don't know about trying to be too fine. I just think, first start probably, trying to find it a little bit. So I thought he did great, and I agree with him. He's got really good stuff, and I think he should fill it up.
We will take another break. Yankees Extra Innings Live continues right after this. Tuesday night on Yes, the Yankees and Mariners play Game 2 at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Coverage begins at 8:30 with outing batting practice today and the pregame, and then first pitch scheduled for just after 9:30 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Opening week is presented by Vanguard. Big G was at it again tonight. Multi-hit games in each of his first 3 games, and jacked 2 more hits tonight. This one on a 2-2 pitch in the 4th inning, and it was into no man's land, and he got a single and thrown out at second.
Yeah, the Mariners gave him a gift by not catching that high pop-up in shallow left field. He gave them a gift back by being thrown out at second base. In this ball, Arozarena's route to that was rather interesting. He ends up getting a double on that, so he also put himself on a very cool graphic.
Yeah, longest multi-hit streaks to begin a season in Yankees history. You see 6 is tops, but there are a large handful of players that have 4. So that's a good sign. Stanton, power, the double, hard hit to the point where Arozarena probably didn't take the right route, but he's impacting the ball a lot. In fact, there was that other one, too, where it's actually an E5, but that was another one that was smoked.
Right, and what I meant on the Arozarena ball, and you're right, Stanton hits the baseball as hard as anyone in baseball, but with the way that Stanton runs the bases, if you're a Arozarena and you circle around that ball, and even if you slide and knock it down, you're probably going to hold him to a single. But as far as Stanton goes, Bob, I was in spring training, and there was a game where he hit 2 home runs. And when he spoke after the game, it was all about his process. It was all about his timing. It was all about getting himself ready for the season. And if you're the Yankees, the most important number that will be beside Stanton's name this year will be games played. How often is he going to be on the field? Because if he stays healthy, you know he's going to get the at-bats. You know he's going to produce. It's just about being out there as often as possible.
Well, let's take a break. We got more coming up. When we come back on Extra Innings Live, we'll look ahead to Game 2 of this series. Second go-round for Max Fried after he opened the season in San Francisco. We'll talk to Big Lefty coming up. We are back on Extra Innings Live with a look at the rest of the series probables courtesy of Nissan. Tuesday night, it's an evening game. Max Fried against Logan Gilbert. Wednesday's an afternoon game here on Yes. Cam Schlittler against George Kirby. So should be billed as a good one Tuesday night because Logan Gilbert, Max Fried are both the aces of their staffs right now, and Fried looked very good in his debut.
Yeah, his first start out, he pitched into the 7th inning against the Giants, Bob. He did not allow a run. He retired 18 of the last 20 batters he faced, and then after the game he talked about all the things he didn't think that he did do right. He felt it was a grind for him, and that's just who Fried is, and that's something the Yankees should appreciate about him, that he goes out there with that mentality of trying to be a perfectionist. So after a rough one tonight where the bullpen ended up giving up the lead in the 9th inning, you show up at the ballpark tomorrow and you know that Max Fried has the ball. If you're the Yankees, you've got a smile on your face.
All right, see what happens on Tuesday night. Hope you'll join us starting at 8:30 with a batting practice show. 9 o'clock pregame, first pitch a little after 9:30. Yanks drop the opener to the Mariners 2-1. They'll look to bounce back Tuesday night. We look forward to seeing you at 8:30. Take care.